And then we just kill all of them, and we just continue on from exactly where we're at.
Don't
We
forget to
haven't
loot
killed
bodies.
anyone.
Loot the bodies. You're right. Hey guys,
I don't even play the
welcome
Lite.
back to Tuesday RPG.
Tuesday
Evening.
TTRPG Day.
Yeah, Tuesday TTRPG Day. Here at the Black Towers. Let me just figure out.
I was about to adjust the camera.
I know. I was just like, because I'm even more constricted than normal, which is so weird because I like to gesticulate a lot, so I have to try and keep everything right in front of my face, or else you guys can't see it. Now I just look weird.
Just look
Oh,
like
it's
you're
like, over here,
gesticulating.
you see.
You always look weird.
Eric
But,
gesticulating
hey, guys.
off camera.
Yeah, all the time. So, as we were actually just discussing, we have a couple players out, planned outage this week. So we decided, well, we're going to do a quick one-shot through Cairn, another role-play system. It's a little different. It's not, I mean, it is, I guess, D20 based, but it's not based like a traditional D20 system. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and give that a shot and have a lot of fun here. So, just kind of introduction here. Your group has been traveling along for quite some time. Far in the northwestern section of the human kingdoms, beyond the mountains, lies the Duchy of Erwald. A relatively backwater type place, not well updated or maintained, not much in the way of infrastructure. It's been hampered quite some times due to its long distance away from the rest of the human kingdoms. Centuries ago, a war broke out between humans and fairies, culminating in the creation of the Wode, a massive primordial forest fortified with elven magics and other energies not of this world. Over the prevailing centuries, the Wode has grown, little by little, each year, slowly consuming the part of the continent that your party currently lives on. The Duchy of Erwald has unfortunately suffered more of the Wode's advance than any other place in the continent, as it now shares an eastern border with the Wode, and as more and more of the humans that live up north in the duchy have abandoned their homes due to the Wode's expansion and traveled farther westward in the duchy, more towards the capital of Istwilt and other settlements such as Rivenmere. The west of Erwald has seen some improvement. Lying along the oceans, its commerce and infrastructure has improved, and life there continues much as it does in much of the rest of the kingdom. However, that is not the case for the eastern half of the duchy, known more broadly as the Borderlands. This is a isolated, sparsely populated, and dangerous area of the duchy. Very few people choose to travel there, and far fewer go beyond the Borderlands into the Wode. Nonetheless, you are not ordinary individuals, being not rat catchers, but actual adventurers. You have braved this area a time or two, as it is one of the best places to make money. And the sudden exodus of people from this part of the country farther west has left numerous opportunities, as well as ruins and riches, for those who are willing to stake their claim in this barren land. So, your group has been traveling eastward towards the only real settlement of note in the Borderlands, that of Shadowreach. It is a town, by far the largest in the area, and the starting spot for the quest that you have undergone. Thaddeus, cleric of St. Eric, one who oversees the domains of war and protection, has received word from the Church of the Saints towards the Midlands of the duchy that the church there in Shadowreach requires some aid, gathering up some trusted individuals. You've packed your horses and set out in midwinter. Now, as you have finally reached the large expanse of hills that separate the Midlands and western part of the duchy into the borderlands proper, you guys can glance out over the plains and scattered forests to see the lone city of Shadowreach slowly moving forward towards you. In the brightness of the early morning, with many days of travel at your back, and the cold and damp and hunger of the road definitely starting to sink in, you approach the palisade that stretches outside of the town of Shadowreach. It is a large kind of dike of earth that surrounds the area. Placed within it as kind of this ramshackle, somewhat thinning line of timber posts of a palisade wall, the base of which reinforced with large stones and whatever else they can pack in to make the wall as strong as possible. The gate itself is roughly hewn timber logs that have just been kind of lined up and banded with iron. At this point in time, partial snowmelt has left the road soggy and slick, but the gates stand open with only one guardsman standing in patrol. And kind of seeing you guys as you continue on, kind of slowly trotting along on your horses. He kind of reaches out a hand to slow you down and then approaches you. This kind of thin set of like scale mail with several pieces missing. Looks like he's got a short sword at his side and a kind of a not so well maintained spear in his hand. He kind of reaches out. Hail! Welcome. From where do you come?
Here, there, wherever. But mainly, we're coming from, Daddies, help me. Daddies?
I don't remember.
Yeah, well, that's because you guys didn't really necessarily say. I mean, plus, Orthar has pretty much spent most of his life, I believe, in the Borderlands.
We are from wherever the coin takes us.
Well, yes, having a short conversation, the guard is kind of looking over, noticing more of Thaddeus's cleric attire. Is, I see. Well, if you're adventurers, I suppose that helps out. After all, the Outrunners are out doing their business. In any case, I suppose you might as well come in. Very well. If you head down the main road here, you'll come across the main square. That's where the temple's located, and the town's only inn. So you might as well check in there if you're looking for lodgings, as we don't really have much else. Or you could do like some of the other pilgrims that come through here and just nestle down in an alleyway somewhere. Just don't make any trouble.
Oh, we'll do our best.
He kind of is looking at you, kind of regarding you somewhat kind of suspiciously, given your choice of
Words.
retort.
About how many people would I think is in this town that we're going to?
You would guess it being an actual town, roughly from kind of the layout you were able to see, somewhere around 1,000, plus or minus 100 or so.
You have every single one of those NPCs mapped out.
I need to know our neighbor. I need to know.
Kilmo, we had this conversation that you said you were not going to play that kind of rogue.
I know.
That's what to say. You had me scared there for a little bit. I was like, "Oh no!
If you
What
I'm
did
know.
I do?"
I'm assuming-
I just wanted to scare you a little bit.
Oh yeah, success.
I'm assuming I've been here before, and probably several of the rotating guards. And I guess this guy is new, or I haven't met him.
Depends. I mean, yeah, as you said, like Shadow Reach is the only real town of note, and it's really definitely the only one that sees any trade. So yeah, you probably would have been here time or two. But yeah, I mean, there is only one inn. It's really more of a boarding house. And so you probably don't really know if you can remember anyone's name, as it's not really that kind of place. As you guys kind of come in through the palisade, the place is built kind of labyrinthine, as if they've just kind of built houses and buildings wherever they had space. So the alleyways are super narrow. And it looks as though these buildings have perhaps been smaller at one point in time and have been kind of added onto over time. So a lot of them are kind of like wood plank with thatch roof. Some of the two-story ones are built kind of like cobblestone or stone on the bottom floor, and then go up to like wooden beam and wooden kind of slat, and occasionally like wooden roofs, all of which heavily sodden and wet, and definitely, I mean, it's a town, but it meets the barest requirements of town. It's definitely a little rough.
Well, that's okay. Yeah, if he's letting us through, I'll start making my way towards the
Making my way.
inn, if you want to follow Thaddeus.
Just keep your hands out where everyone can see them, Gillian.
I told you, I've done doing that.
Just like to give you a warning.
I am reformed. I only steal when paid to now.
Hate for you to be self-employed then.
Oh no, there's a ghost. Well, I guess you guys can't see it.
Yeah, like, what, like, the pilgrims are sleeping in the alleys, right? Are they like pissing in the alleys?
you
and,
definitely see, as you're kind of glancing through and getting a little bit more of the deal. There are some kind of little tent city kind of from place to place. Not that there's any, I would say, like a vagrancy problem. But there does appear in some cases where there have been like some temporary shelter kind of set up. Not so much here, since we're in kind of the deep part of midwinter. But you've been here enough time in the spring to know that like when it warms up out here, sure. But most people, like, if they're here for travel, they don't come here during the winter.
It's just these fanaticals. Just kind of roll my eyes a little bit and look at Thaddeus. That really want to be here.
Yeah. So, you guys make your way into the main square, which is kind of centered around this kind of rough paved stone kind of plaza. Not really large enough to hold any kind of festivities, but it's more like the roads are wider and gives you some nicer views, so there are places to congregate. There is a rather large cobblestone well that lies in the center of it. You guys can see the boarding house come up on your left. There's a little sign that kind of sits there that looks like it has some kind of an outline that appears to be the profile of a wagon or cart as you guys approach, and you just see the wandering wagon just kind of noted there. And it kind of is built in such a way that like the wheel is a separate piece and will actually kind of rotate with the wind to kind of show that it's kind of moving. Thaddeus, you can kind of look off to your right, just kind of opposite the boarding house across the square. You see the Church of the Saints present there, so it's all kind of here. So there is that. You would be aware, Orthar, having been here, there is a stable towards the back of the establishment.
Well, Thaddeus, if you want to go get yourself acquainted with your compatriots, I will take care of the horses.
Thank you.
And maybe keep our friend here on his toes. Look at Gillian. Just
keep a lookout for suspicious individuals, Gillian.
Will do.
I get off the
Look
horse.
around, see if I can see anybody suspicious.
Hand the reins over to Orthar.
You catch yourself in the reflection on a puddle on the ground.
There he is.
suspicious.
Oh, that's me.
Ouch.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Just as a little clarification for Orthar, the portrait is good, but he looks a little like everything's not there, and he just like sometimes his mind wanders a little.
So what you're saying is the portrait of Orthar is like after like he's in town and has had a bath, whereas you look a lot more haggard and road worn.
Yeah, and like
Deranged.
this is him once he's come down from whatever Wode mushroom or herb he has decided to see if it can see if I can sell it. Does it do good things? Does it help me? Is it gonna make me fall asleep in the middle of the woods for 2 days? Who knows?
The worst part is that when it's a good one, you can't find it again because you've traveled like 3 miles unconscious. All right,
Man, why are my feet
Sounds
so-
all right.
I'll hand the reins over to Orthar, and I'll start making my way over to the church.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just
So-
bring him to the state.
Yeah, bring the guys. Start handling that stuff. Okay. So, Thaddeus, you kind of make your way over to the thin, just kind of one-story, slate-roofed, cobblestone building of the Church of the Saints here. Chapel, really in size. But as you kind of push in the large, kind of rounded oak doors, you see in a pretty standard configuration just this entry area pushed into a circular gallery. There is a spot in the middle that kind of sits in like this kind of large vestibule where most of the light comes in, a pulpit. And there are benches kind of lined around in a circle facing inward. And then there are 7 alcoves, each dedicated to a different saint that is in the area. As you kind of come in, bringing the chill with you, closing the door a bit behind you, You see an individual who's in the process of kind of sweeping. That's kind of this large man. He kind of glances over towards you. You see his eyes squint a little bit. You kind of recognize his rather large, girthy form, and it's kind of like beard. That he kind of smiles and does like the weird thing where all the hair on his face kind of distorts. He goes, Thaddeus! And goes to set the broom off to the side, and then kind of lumbers towards you as if he's like really, really happy to see you. He goes, and just kind of embraces you in a bear hug. Old friend, what are you doing here? What are you doing here?
Is this Friar Benedict?
It is, yes.
Well, the church called for help, so of course it's my duty to come and take care of it. What brings you here in such a rotund manner?
Well, I got caught here during the winter, bringing supplies. But it's fine. I mean, after all, I'm a friar and this is a church, and, well, I'm taking the opportunity to, pray and minister to the masses as best I can. But, oh, you're the one the church sent to help us out, huh?
Nothing but the best.
I see. Yeah, I heard you found a new sword a little while back, a real relic piece, huh?
Yes, and I will hold back the cloak a little bit to show just the handle of it.
Kind of looking. Looks fancy, fancy. Well, if that's why you're here, then I suppose the legendary Thaddeus has just gotten a little bit more legendary. So they send you alone, and then he kind of starts glancing behind you.
Oh no, I have 2 fellow compatriots that are with me. That are individual skills
good.
that are necessary.
I was worried you might have run off another batch of compatriots.
No, they left on their own accord.
Well.
You mean they died?
Only the rogue.
As I come up behind him, the person he's talking to.
When I
Just
asked
say,
to look
"You mean
for
they died?"
suspicious people, I meant outside of the church.
Well, I didn't see anybody, so I came inside.
This is one of my compatriots. This is Gillian.
And Benedict kind of moves over and then goes to embrace you in a big hug.
He's
and
a
kind
hugger.
of like slapping you on the back, like really, really tough. I mean, big guy.
I will give him a bear hug back.
And he kind of takes it, and he's like leaving one hand on your shoulder, and then he goes and places the other on Thaddeus's shoulder. He goes, "This is such a good day." All right, all right. Well, I suppose we should get down to business then. Come back and follow me to the rectory. I've got a new brew that you and your friend here can give me some feedback on.
You do always make the best kind.
Yes. This time, and he's just kind of going through an usual deal where he's kind of just starts to explain the brew and general mead processes as he goes. The rectory is this kind of small building that lies behind the church. The area in between has been kind of fenced in with like a fieldstone fence, and a little garden is there. And he kind of comes back in, finds a little spot in the rectory, and starts pulling out this large, ceramic demijohn, and starts kind of filling you guys some drinks. Well. Yes, I'm glad you all came, though I honestly wasn't expecting anything until spring. But I suppose you have never been one to sit around when there's a job needs doing. Well, at any rate, there is a sort of a church matter going on regards out in the Wode. Not too deep, mind you. But from what I understand, there was a holy order of knights, paladin types, that was around here a couple centuries back. The order's long since gone. Probably no one, any of us, Westlanders, would know, myth-wise, but from what I understand, the actual sepulchre and surrounding lands was swallowed up during the last blooming. No big deal, after all. Even by that point in time, the Holy Order had mostly been defunct for over a century at that point, so no one paid too much mind. The problem is that some of the local woodsmen who have been making their rounds out near that way have reported seeing strange lights moving in and about the sepulchre. They've also said that on occasions they have even managed to spot a skeleton. No one really goes any further beyond that, but it's most likely that the sepulchre is in need of some purification. And so we need a member of the faith to go and read the liturgies and make the prayers and re-sanctify the sepulchre. And that's pretty much it. But obviously we'll need someone who is capable of defending themselves, as we're not entirely sure what all might be there.
Well, I have no problem taking on this quest. Unfortunately, my compatriots tend to go a little more with coin than the compassion.
I see. Well, I suppose that's true. True enough. But you know, Shadowreach isn't like Rivenmere or Ithswild. Not a lot of coin comes through here, and it's still mostly a barter. I suppose I could put together some sort of a collection or such. Especially considering we would rather hope that not any valuables within the sepulchre would be claimed in lieu of coin, as they are nonetheless, well, grave robbing is not well looked after, as you know. Were this some other domicile, perhaps, but given the religious nature of the place, we would rather the things remain where they are. What sort of sum do you think your compatriots would require to make it worth their while?
I looked over to Gillian.
One moment.
Welch's.
Where'd he get a pack of Welch's grape juice fruits? No, don't give them to the kid. Give them to me.
Well, we have 1 million of them.
Kids? That's too many.
No, Welch's fruit snacks.
Oh, good.
Yeah, you buy those things by the box.
Yeah.
Orthar will probably walk in shortly while the conversation is going and probably over here.
We're in the back room, sir. You have no idea where we are.
Probably pretty good.
Hey, have you seen a big guy in
You could
armor,
end up there without
just
too
walk
much.
in here?
We're not quiet. Well, Benedict isn't quiet.
No, he's not.
Anyways, it really depends on the job. The problem is you never know what you're going to run into. Never know what you're going to leave.
Well,
Yeah, that's true. That's certainly true. And trust me, I've been where you're at. I've traveled the roads a while, and I'm aware of the dangers.
is there something other than
So-
coin, then?
I'm not entirely sure what all I can offer you. I can offer you some coin. I do have some supplies. Well, and I suppose if it comes down to it, and he kind of goes and pats the demijohn of mead. I suppose I can always give you some of my special stock, too.
Well, Gillian.
That is intriguing.
Yeah, and you can kind of tell the mead that you're drinking right now has kind of vague apple pie kind of taste to it. It's kind of nice because as you drink it, it warms you up from the inside with the cinnamon and everything. So,
Well, before we agree to doing anything, if you don't think of anything particularly, Gillian, we should get Orthar's opinion.
I think I could actually see him over there, looking at the door.
Like trying to get other
yeah, you guys are looking out the rectory, and he's like going around, and he's like looking in windows of buildings.
One moment.
Excuse me.
See him fucking with the garden a little bit.
One moment. And I go...
Orthar, come over here.
I walk out the front door.
Huh?
You knew we were at the church. I told you.
Did you?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, you did. You did. Yes.
Your skills are quite impressive. Please, come in.
I'm an expert track.
Meet an old friend of mine. And I take him to the back.
Whole thing. Ah, more friends!
Look out.
Hey! And I'll like enthusiastically go into it.
He's also a hugger.
I'll try to pick him up, realize I'm not that strong. Just like,
Not a good idea.
He's a big dude.
We were discussing compensation for helping out the church. I, of course, would do it as part of my religion and need. Gillian
Of course.
would prefer coin, but that's not something that comes readily here. So compensation of some other kind is an option.
So we're going into the Wode. Where, good friar, I've missed out on the conversation. Where is am I supposed to lead our fine Thaddeus?
Well, it's more like the Border Wode, really. Well, if you head east by northeast from here towards the Wode, up on the hill, there is a sepulcher, a tomb for some knights that used to be popular in this area a few centuries back.
I know
It would
yes.
appear the sanctification that lies on that particular sepulchre to prevent the raising of undead has waned. And it seems potentially some undead have been seen in the area.
That does make sense. Last time I was out there, the moon lilies weren't growing as abundant as they normally do.
Well, then it would seem you know a bit of the area, which was good for us, really.
I know the hill. It's just depending on the route you take, you may. I know last I was out there 7 seasons ago, there was a nasty troll roaming around, but I believe some outriders took care of him.
Yes, well,
I did not
it's possible.
plan to fight a troll.
No, Gillian, there's no troll now. They killed it.
Yes,
There was a
besides, trolls typically hibernate this time of year. We typically won't see them until spring.
But undead, that is worrisome.
Worrisome indeed.
I think purification enough. Moonlilies sell for a good bounty, and people are always looking for them in Rivenmere. I would be much obliged to have some help if since it has been unsanctified, to have that place as picking spot.
So what you're
Again.
saying is you benefit from it being cleared yourself.
I do. And as knowing Gillian, I would be able to use his assistance in transporting, trading of moon lilies and other foliage that grows on the sepulchre.
Gillian, are you happy with some type of...
Point will be made, but it is an investment of time.
Gillian, were you happy with a...
Gillian will narrow his eyes. I'll accept it, but I reserve the right to complain.
That you can. Luckily, it's just the border road, so it's not going to be too oppressive. So, not too bad of a travel. Have y'all had anyone strange come through? I don't recognize you, Friar. You are new here?
Oh, no, not exactly new. I wander around a lot. I'm a traveling friar, so to speak. An errant. Mostly, I travel between the borderlands and the west, collecting supplies, food, medicine, things of that nature, and bringing them around to different villages, just to make sure that everyone needs it. It receives a little something. I managed to simply get myself caught here, bringing in some items before winter, and, well, I'm not exactly in a mood to push a cart all the way back to Rivenmere. But, so I'm staying here and helping out the church in the meanwhile.
Well, sir, it seems that you have some help for you then to rid the sepulchre of its denizens and malcontents.
Well,
don't look at me
I
like
certainly
that, Daddy. I can
appreciate
use
that.
big words sometimes. But
Looks
as
like
you
short
see, like
words
one
that
eye just kind of like days out. Just
I was worried for your health. It looked like it hurt you.
you get the 2 gold words sometimes.
Deep pockets. Well, we'd look to rest up this evening, and I would like to get this taken care of as soon as possible.
Well, that's perfectly fine with me. So, unfortunately, I could probably get you some lodgings here, but I don't know that I could help out your friends, unfortunately.
Oh, the stable had a spare stall. I'm sure I'll be comfortable enough there.
I'll go take care of the lodgings at the stable.
That's why they really travel with Thaddeus, is that he's willing to pay for rooms.
Such a gentleman. Providing for us.
I wasn't about to sleep in the stables.
It's like Gillian's like, I'm gonna get me some shelter.
Yup. I did not grow up in the outskirts of nowhere.
Hey, listen, man. Growing up in the borderlands, it gets a little rough sometimes, buddy.
Might be
I'm
poor,
a
but
city
I'm not
boy.
that bad. I'm not that poor.
I'm not that poor. Just it's saving money.
All right, I'll head. Benedict, thank you for your time. I will be over shortly after I take care of this.
Of course, of course. I'm looking forward to seeing you. I do still have some supplies, though, so if you do end up needing something, feel free to let me know.
Will do. Orthar, can you try to get an idea of how far that we're going to travel in days-wise as I leave the building?
I will probably since
Whether it's
since,
asking
like, you're
people
not-
or going and fighting it yourself. I don't want to do that.
for a little bit, I'll probably try to get some of whatever it is in Gillian's cup he has because it smells kind of good and kind of alcohol-y, and I'm just like, what you got? You gonna share?
Yeah, he'll pour you some if you want some.
Oh, he'll pour me a cup. Oh, hot dog. I'll have me a little cuppa. Since I
little
am
cup of sweet, faintly apple pie tasting mead.
when the friar isn't looking, I will sprinkle a little bit of Wode spice in there from the Wood Elves.
Why did I get teamed with a druggie?
It's not drugs. It's spice.
Spice.
And you're pouring it in your
Spice.
cup or the
In
friar's cup?
in my cup.
It's a little
Because
extra.
the Wood Elves make a nice little alcohol, but they use a special blend, and it makes some drinks taste a little bit better.
It's like you're adding
This is good.
It's like you're adding sweetener to something you haven't drank yet.
No,
he's
I would taste
basically
it. I would
adding
taste
some cayenne to apple pie. He wants a little bit of heat there too.
Like how you it doesn't if you don't taste the food first and you just add pepper because you like everything a little more
I
peppery.
like pepper. Put some salt and pepper on everything before you eat it.
Yep, I am that
But
person.
having
Or white.
visited the sepulcher and it being a little harvest station for me, I probably
Close that area a bit.
yeah, I've probably gone there from here. About how long would that be?
Um,
And we'll skirt. The troll location will be probably nearby, so we'll skirt it just in case he decides to have a mid hibernation snack.
yeah, you can think about it. It's maybe a day's travel, so you would probably have to camp somewhere overnight. You probably, if you take the horses, you could probably get there in just over half a day. But horses don't exactly always work the best in the Wode, so you might have to tie them up somewhere. And the biggest difference there is trying to huff it through the borderlands on foot in the middle of winter is going to slow you down a little bit.
I'll bring those options. But I do not trust horses anywhere near the Wode because they get a little spooked.
Antsy.
Or eaten. One of the two.
I go to the border house, Eric. Boarding house.
Mm-hmm.
Not border house.
Porterhouse?
Porterhouse steak.
The
The lodging,
Hey,
not
pretty
great. The food is amazing. I go in. Is this... Well, with 1,000 people, people at the boarding house are either the destitute, the poor, or just traveling through.
No, I mean, when you say boarding house, it means it's less of an inn and more like a big. It's more like motel.
Yeah, it's like it's a motel that people spend more than one day at.
Yeah. So as you make your way into the wandering wagon, the place is simple. There is a bit of a check-in desk right there at the front. You see a door that continues off into the back outside and towards the stables. Through kind of a bit of an archway or a frame off to your left, you see a relatively small dining area. It's basically just got one long table in it, and then it's got a fireplace on one side to provide some heat, and it's kind of decorated as if this is the inside of someone's home. And then just beyond the fireplace, there's like another door that heads off into another room. You're met by this woman who is wearing this kind of really faded sunflower yellow dress with this kind of brown kind of shawl and an apron. Her hair is kind of tied back in a bun. And she's not old, but you can see she's got some weathering, as everyone does in the Borderlands, but she appears warm-hearted but hard-working. As you come in, she kind of glances over. Oh, welcome to the Wandering Wagon. My name's Eliza, and I'm the proprietor here. Will you be requiring rooms?
Yes. I have 2 fellow compatriots with me that will also be staying.
I see.
My name is, pardon my rude introduction, I'm Thaddeus.
Pleasure to meet you, Thaddeus. Well, I do have some rooms available to accommodate all 3, if that is what you require. I do have a couple small cots, so if you needed to double up, that's possible. But I'm afraid the rooms aren't exactly large enough to fit all 3 of you.
1 room we can make do with the space.
I see. Well, one of the easiest I could do would be to... I could do 2 rooms, one with a cot, or I could do the 3 rooms. At this particular point, I would normally only charge you about 2 coppers per room per evening, so that would be 6 coppers total if you wanted, per day, of course, if you wanted to do the whole stay. And then I believe your compatriot already came through and boarded the horses, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, we have 3 horses as well.
All right. So we can simply call it a silver piece, just to kind of round it all out. And that will handle the stabling of the horses and their feeding, as well as 3 rooms, if that's amenable.
That'll do fine. I hand over 1 gold, because I don't... I'll break down my actual currency here, because I don't like that I have just gold here.
Into like
so
a reasonable amount.
I'll hand over a silver. You said 1 silver piece total?
Mm-hmm.
I'll hand over a silver and 2 copper for extra accommodations. Here you go.
Oh, she kind of take it. Oh, thank you very much. Now, it looks like we've still got about another hour until lunch. That is, of course, included within there. We're having a meat stew. So, you're, of course, feel free to eat here if you like. But if you do choose to eat at one of the other establishments in town, don't worry, I understand.
I think we'll be fine here tonight. Alright,
So she's kind of writing some stuff in, hands the keys, just kind of does all that. In order to reach, just outside this back door, you will take a set of stairs up to a 2nd floor. And it basically runs the whole way. Your group will have the 3 rooms at the end.
Thank you. I'll take the keys. I will head back over to the church.
Okay.
Go in. Are you all still there? Or did you all bugger off somewhere else?
I'm still there.
At the church?
Yeah.
Yeah, Benedict hasn't put a cap on the mead yet, so
Well,
that's...
he's pouring. He's still there. Let's go.
Yeah.
Hello. You still here? As I continue to walk to the back of the church.
We're
Welcome
probably
back.
sitting down with Benedict, just, hello!
Oh, yay. Right around the corner. I see you 2 have made yourself quite comfortable. I toss a key to both of you. Your rooms for the evening.
Well, thank you very much. A room to myself. All
You
right.
live like kings. Don't destroy it.
I'll try not to.
The food is provided.
And a home cooked meal. It's a miracle. It's a miracle this time.
Well, Benedict, I didn't get any of that meat, so if you could...
Ah, don't worry, good friend of mine. Oh, there's plenty to go around.
I'll have a drink, relax a bit. Froze up again. I'll relax for a bit with everybody else.
Yeah, I'll get pretty deep in the cup, and Benedict probably catches me putting my little bits in the cups. I don't know if he's gonna ask what it is.
Nope.
Okay.
Gillian will probably just drink 2 glasses and that's it.
Okay.
I'll
you
regale
guys are
Benedict
gonna-
with some of our stories, of our little short endeavor we've had, and other little small trips. This is the last time I've seen him.
Yep. Usually, as you can tell, it tends to involve Benedict getting himself in some kind of trouble, either deciding to take a shortcut through an area of the Borderlands and that not working out well, or Benedict getting his cart stuck and him trying to pull it out while he's being attacked by goblins. A couple times Thaddeus has had to, ransom him from bandits, that kind of thing.
All in a day's work.
So,
I'll probably talk
but
about
yes.
more fantastical trips into the actual Wode and coming out like a month later when I think only like a couple days have passed.
Orthar, what is your experience with phase spiders?
I don't like them.
Good.
Wait, did you say out of character? Did you say Fae or phase?
Phase.
Ew. Yeah. I don't think anything with 8 legs that can jump as far as they can should have any reason to be able to do that.
Oh.
Why do you ask?
Oh, one of my most recent little escapades into the Wode involved them.
I usually steer clear once webbing shows up. Because
How do you get rid of the nest?
You burn it.
Right, but you can only burn the outside. You have to get close. Deep.
I usually, luckily, last time, I ran into a little wood elf village that they were just setting up, and I asked them if they could help me clear it, and they're much better than I.
Fascinating story. Well, Benedict will be going.
What time is it? Is it like what time is it? Because I'm sure we've burned
You're
the
several
oil.
deep into the cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was only like late morning, so I imagine you guys are just going to spend the day relaxing. And then, because Thaddeus said you guys were going to depart on the morrow.
Yes.
If it's late morning, I will go ahead and do a little trudging out. I'd say enough time that it'd be a little late mid-afternoon before I come back. Just enough time so that like by the time I get back to the village, it's dusk. Just to like scout out our path.
Okay.
Alright, so at some point in this day,
Uh-oh.
I would say Gil does this frequently enough that Thaddeus is used to it and is aware of it, whatever bonus that gives. Gil is going to try and steal the sword that he has.
Yeah, it's bulky. I mean,
I'm not going to hold on to it.
I
I'm
like
literally
the
going
idea
to
of you-
steal it and then give it back. And anytime I steal it, I will
some
give
of
it
his
back.
tricks get very elaborate when you try to steal this sword from me too, because I don't take it off unless I'm sleeping. So
Yep.
it's like those things where you kind of hug or you bump against, you loosen a buckle here and there, and then it's the old I've turned one direction and the sword goes the other direction, like with
Yes.
you. You're like, haha. And
Sometimes it
takes
works,
takes
sometimes
a
it
matter of
doesn't.
seconds. And like, where's the sword? Not like you can hide it, as it's a long
So-
sword.
What type of roll would I do to steal his sword?
Roll me dex.
Ooh, first roll. You gotta roll low, Kilmo. You're not used to doing that.
Yes. Alright, so roll 20. My character, where is my character? There he
It's
is.
just a D20.
Oh god,
15.
the
I need
bright
to roll below a 15.
rolls a 20.
12.
You're getting close.
Yep. Not as smooth as you would have thought, but and you're not able to. I mean, Thaddeus is aware, but you do manage to get the sword out of Thaddeus's possession and then back away 10, 15 feet before Thaddeus is able to react.
Bulky says it counts as 2, correct?
Yep. So you're
Oh.
sitting here holding it two hand.
Okay,
Nice
so
big.
what I would actually do instead of getting away is I'll grab it and take like 2 or 3 steps and fall over because I'm not used to holding a big old weapon and I trip over myself. Shit.
I think some of the times when I catch you, it's like you got it off, but it's like dragging on the ground. So, what are you doing?
I got it.
Did you stop? All right. Congratulations, Gillian. You're very talented.
Yeah, which is saying something because Gillian's actually got a pretty average strength, so holding the sword is not a problem.
It's not holding the sword, it's being able to walk while having a bulky weapon in front of you.
That's why you stick to stealing small things that can be hidden away and stealthily move, taking an entire weapon on the difficult side.
Yes, but it's
Gillian,
fun.
Gillian? I would
Here
like
you
the
go.
sword back. Thank you. Get quicker that time. Do you know where Orthar went?
I
No,
would have told you my plan.
Yeah, to go out into the borderlands and come back at some point tonight, which is not comforting.
No, I have no idea where he went.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go up to the room then, because I'm done here.
Alrighty. I'm gonna finish eating and then I'm gonna go up.
Okay.
Say, over to the innkeeper, Eliza. Like, thank you.
And she kind of nods. My pleasure.
I go out and around and up and down.
So, yes, and these are basically, like motel rooms. They're just like regular sized bedrooms that are filled with some furniture, and they open up. Basically, all the rooms are second floor, and so you just kind of are walking up, kind of a catwalk or a balcony
So there's
walkway.
a staircase.
If
There
you don't
are
know
stairs.
what this is, Google a motel, and there you go.
Yeah.
Well, just say prayers, go to sleep, get ready for the next day.
Okay. All right. So, you guys awake the following day in the chillness of the morning, and kind of pack up your goods. Orthar is kind of the first there, kind of getting some stuff ready. Scouted the way ahead. Looks like most of the road is clear. There's one spot that looks like it's gonna be a little wet and slippery, but there doesn't appear to be any tracks of monsters or anything like that. So,
Only in the morning do you get the gruffer.
You get the
Or-
portrait picture.
Yeah, where I'm like kind of.
You're sober.
Yeah.
100% sober.
okay.
You look as rough as ever, Orthar.
I feel it.
You both look like you slept like shit.
I slept fine.
So you just look like shit.
Thank you, Gillian.
Oh,
Okay.
I go inside to Eliza when I find her, and I was like, Good morning. We're going to be heading out of town. Should take probably 2 days for us to get back. Would it be alright if we housed our horses here?
Yes, that's fine. What were you wanting to do about the dog? I mean, he's fine to stay, but
No, he's coming. He's coming with us.
I forget
very
about
well.
the dog.
He's a tracking hound. So
Bloodhound.
pretty sure Orthar forgot about the dog too.
A little bit.
That was called the Warden's opportunity to remind a character that one of the main parts of his loadout exists.
Like, your stats are bad. Use your dog.
Been there.
they're not.
They're okay.
The dog has better dexterity.
It's a dog. Be faster too. The dog will be going with us. How much for the horses to stay stabled?
Well, the stabling fee, previously I believe we set it up, it was just going to be 4 copper pieces for the 3 horses per evening. So if it's going to be 2 days, that comes out to 8 copper.
Alright. I'll hand over 8 copper.
Okay.
Look at me always playing charity characters.
I need to have my morning tea.
Is that code for something?
It's usually what like brings the seriousness down. So it's some sort of concoction he enjoys.
So it's code for something. Okay.
It's not code
You
for
are
anything.
trying
It is
Hot water, please.
It is. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, may I have a cup of hot water?
Yeah, that's fine. By the way, Orthar, I don't think you ever told me what your dog's name was.
I didn't.
Because he doesn't know.
Shithead. His name is Shithead.
Shathid. D-Nice. Dog's name is D-Nice.
Yeah.
Aaron.
Oh, Shaq Hannessy's office.
Jake Quellen.
I had the joy of bringing that to somebody's life like a week ago who had never seen it.
Oh, brother.
Oh, it was great.
Well, Aaron, what's the name of your dog? Your most
Give
valued
me
companion.
like 7.
They're not good, but they are options.
Ears.
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 Yeah, okay, checks out.
Yeah.
In
all
character, I will not address this dog at
Basic.
all. Other than by dog.
Right. Yep.
Or mutt.
Oh,
Hey, don't
Yeah,
call
but-
don't call ears mutt.
That's Orthar's name.
You address me as mutt. I am the mutt. I
All right,
groom
mutt.
him very well. I make sure he does not have matting.
Well, we'll be traveling on foot. Do you have your tea?
As I'm like pouring a little thing of leaves and stuff in it, just use my finger to stir it. Just yep.
All right. Let's head out.
So let's see here. If the 3 of you could roll me some dexterity.
Oh
Yo-yo.
yeah. You can
How
roll
many?
dice.
Just roll 1. Dexterity.
Yeah.
Hey, wait, you failed.
That's actually bad. It's a
You
low
failed.
number, but it's not low enough. I rolled a 9. I needed it to
Out of
be
7.
below a 7.
Is it meets or below?
Below.
Okay, so a 7 wouldn't work. You'd have to be 6 or
I
below.
need a 6. Yeah, I'm not dexterous, okay?
Okay. So, who passed?
The 2 Dex guys did.
Everybody but Thaddeus.
Yeah.
That's okay. So, there is
Do you want
that
a Dex
part
for my dog?
where,
Do you want a Dex for my dog?
no.
Okay.
There is a part, the aforementioned slippery section, where where you guys go through a section of the dirt where the ground is like, it's kind of a low-lying area, and so the dirt is pretty heavily saturated. Thaddeus, for kind of a brief moment, almost unseats himself on his horse.
We're not on a horse.
Oh, that's right. You guys are walking.
Walking.
Yeah, so
I
sorry.
just fucking... I do that weird slip thing where you like...
Yep,
You, like,
slip
kind of
and
pull
go right
something.
into a seated position.
You gonna be all right back there?
It's probably not the last time, but I slowly get up.
Do you need these? Hold up a set of climbing boots.
No,
Oh,
I'll just slip.
by the way, Thaddeus, I forgot to tell you before you left. Benedict gave you a scroll for the purification ritual.
Oh, goody. Let me add that to my inventory.
Yes, but that is a petty item, so it doesn't take up a slot.
Okay. I'll
But
add
it is
below
one
my
use,
inventory.
so make sure you don't use it until you know it's good too. But he also warns you it can only be used on relatively like weak whatever, so you need to slay stuff or make sure it's culled of any particularly powerful undead.
Slowly get up. Wave away the climbing shoes. Spike editions. And I will take out my warhammer and kind of use it as a walking stick, but just heavy. With the hammer is where my hand is.
Okay. So, as the elevation begins to increase, you trade the mud for snow and slushy ice. And let's see here. Orthar, will you give me a willpower, please?
Woo!
Sure, bud.
Alrighty then.
That's all. We believe in you, Orthar.
Ah, no, it's below. Oh, dang. I met
You
it.
went below.
No,
You want to roll.
I have a will of 8.
I
rolled an 8.
Okay. So you failed.
Yeah, it's not meter below, it's just below.
Yeah. Thaddeus, Gillian, you guys have this deal where Orthar starts taking you along a path, and then you guys kind of watch as Orthar kind of starts looking around a little bit, slows the pace, and then starts kind of changing his trajectory a little bit, but doesn't say anything.
Didn't we pass this rock earlier?
Orthar,
No, that's a different rock. It's a different rock.
should we... Is there something up ahead we are avoiding, or... Is
No,
this an
no,
elevation?
I usually don't come here during the winter. I usually come here in spring, so it's just
Would you like to gather your bearings for a moment?
yeah. Let's take a minute. And I'm just gonna I'm gonna use like the hand like shades to try to block out the light from the snow.
Yep. So, taking some rests and then moving on. You do eventually enter the border Wode and start making your way farther inward. Increasing in elevation kind of as you go. As you can tell, you start entering the Wode as like the light around you, less and less of the light from the sun makes its way down through the trees. As you guys are kind of starting to get to the point where there are a lot more roots that are kind of coming up and over, you're taking a look, the sun's starting to come down a little bit, and the decision is made to go ahead and stop here as it is time to make camp. And it's best to do that in the border Wode rather than the Wode directly.
Do I see any trees that may be habitable? With like bigger branches.
Yeah, I mean, there are some trees that are very large in this part, so it is the border Wode, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, Thaddeus, I don't know your comfortability with sleeping in a tree, but I do recommend that we do.
You pick the tree.
Okay, fit Thaddeus. I think this one will do. I'll pick a tree with a particularly sturdy-looking main branch. You could call it an arm if you wanted to. That would accommodate Thaddeus. I know Gillian and I are probably smaller fellows and don't need as much.
Okay.
How high up is this arm of a branch?
Oh, it's maybe 10 feet.
It's not the worst.
Yeah,
no.
If you guys wouldn't mind rolling me strength.
Yay!
Ooh.
Yeah.
Why'd you?
I got
Aaron
this.
and I got 2s. You got a 16.
I gotta be careful. The D&D gods are gonna be like, hold up, he's not playing D&D. Give him high rolls now.
Why is he cheering these low numbers? He should be angry.
So
Ah, no,
who
darn
failed?
it, a 2. Gillian.
Kilmo failed. He got a 16.
Yeah, because I can't see anyone but Dustin's rolls. Oh, you know what? I'm not scrolled down all the way. Never mind. It's there. I see
I wonder
it.
why.
What a wonder!
It just did not auto scroll. That's unfortunate. Okay. So yes, it takes Gillian a little bit of time. Actually, hold up here, Gillian. Roll again, and just take the lowest result.
11. Oh, climbing boots.
Yeah, because you got climbing boots. Is that a pass or a fail? I don't know if that's a pass or fail.
Yes, that's a
Gillian's
pass.
a pass.
Okay.
He's got 12 strength.
So then, yeah, with you kind of go and you slide on those spiked boot attachments and kind of start making your way up the tree pretty easily. You guys find some branches just
Start
kind
to
of up out
fail.
of the low.
And then I realize, wait a minute, I have these. Slip them on.
Yeah. I'm like, yes. There are tools for this. It's already becoming worth it. Come on. Alright, so you guys find spots up in the tree. You have any particular watch that you guys are going to do?
I'll take first watch.
I'll take second.
I'll be the early riser then.
Okay. The night goes through chilly, especially you guys being out here in an elevated position in midwinter. Surprising, though, that the closer you get to the Wode, the less cold it seems to feel. The only activity of note comes kind of late into your watch, Thaddeus, as you do hear the grunting of some pigs and kind of look down. It's as one lone black boar kind of comes up to the tree underneath you, and it's trying to rubbing his face over it, maybe to knock something off, or just trying to gouge the tree. You're not entirely sure. But after a couple minutes, it kind of wanders off in search of food. But the morning eventually comes, and your companions awake to the morn. And you guys are free to begin the last leg of your journey.
Slide down the tree.
Yep. I'll slide down with.
I'll do me a little climb to a lower branch and just kind of hop down. Good morning, Thaddeus. Are you decent enough? I know wilderness sleeping is not your forte, nor yours, Gillian.
It's just a minor inconvenience.
As it normally is, but for these incursions, it normally is. Anyone?
Orthar, do you use a bow?
Yes.
Shame you didn't take the last watch. There's a boar that came right up to the tree.
I know this close sometimes it's best not to think what you see is what it is. But alright, it could have made for a decent catch. I'll recant about shooting a nice plump pheasant that turned into a pixie when I shot it.
You might have been high.
He does put back a lot of leg cap. He doesn't even need it because he doesn't cast spells.
He likes a taste. It makes his skin
it's
tingle.
got this tingle.
My teeth are humming.
But no one heard any music or any floating lights, will-o-wisps?
I did.
No. What?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, good. You're still here,
Okay,
though.
that would have been good to pass on that information when we go from
Changed
watch
watch.
to watch.
Yes,
We've been over this before, Gillian. More information is better.
but then you complain about me telling too much.
Useful information is better, not I counted so and so many homeless people. I don't care.
That's fair, I guess.
In any case,
Try not
It
to
is
get lost,
good.
Orthar.
oh, it's actually exceptionally easier navigating here than across the plains. So I don't think we'll have another issue.
So you admit
Yep.
it, there was an issue.
There was an issue, yes.
Okay. So, speaking of, Orthar, would you make me a will?
Well, he's in Texas, so that's a success, my friend.
Okie dokie. So,
Hey.
as Orthar leads the party from the border Wode into the deeper sections of the Wode, Lite pretty much disappears here, and you guys are having issues kind of seeing and looking around. And at one point in time, you guys kind of feel as though you can see like some outlines of things, but then it's almost kind of like the contrast between objects almost kind of disappears. Does one of you guys light a torch or something?
I will light a torch.
Okay. Boom. Thaddeus lights up a torch. At which point in time, you guys look around and see you guys are almost completely enveloped by this thick fog that's just kind of rolling through the area, making it so that it's very difficult for you guys to see anything more than like 10 or 15 feet away from you.
Because we're out in the wilderness, I do not take my little tea thing. Is this is probably an occurrence that happens quite a bit in the Border Wode and the Wode.
Happens.
Fog.
Did the torch help, or did it just make the fog brighter so you can't see anything?
A little bit of both. It helps you guys see the stuff immediately in front of you, but you weren't really able to see much of anything beyond the immediate area anyway. So I would say it
Doesn't
hurt,
really matter.
or it helped more than it hurt.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, nothing to it but to do it, as they say.
Okay. So,
As you say.
Orthar, if you wouldn't mind giving me another willpower.
We believe.
No, don't believe. It's a 13.
You. Why are you leading the way?
Because he's the ranger.
I know.
Yeah, and
A drugged up ranger.
Well, I mean, come on, guys.
You know what they say. If you do an activity while you're inebriated and you do it again while you're inebriated, you can do it perfectly.
While you're
So-
I guess you
inebriated.
weren't inebriated enough.
One good thing you guys note is like as you guys are kind of moving through the fog, the flame of the torch seems to kind of dispel and push some of the fog away. Downside is you guys have been kind of walking for a little bit, and after like climbing up some area and then moving around and then climbing back under another area, you guys come across some footprints on the ground. which surprises you, except for the telltale signs of spike shoe contraptions on one of them.
And dog prints.
And dog prints, yes.
Well, Orthar.
You appear to have been going in
Yes,
circles.
that is.
Either we have come across an
Doppelgangers.
identical crew, or we have just traveled in a circle.
Would you care? Do you know where the sepulcher is?
It is north or west or east? Which way was that? I don't remember.
East, northeast.
Northeast? Well, I'm blunt enough to go in a straight line.
Then
Yeah,
I
but
would
you're in
love.
Wode and you can't see the sun, and so you have no way of knowing what direction you're facing.
Orthar, do you know which way is north and east and west?
Well, the fog's making it a little difficult at the moment.
You say you've been to the sepulchre before,
Yes.
or around it. Do you have anything from it?
Look through my bag.
Any of your little growth cap head things come from that area?
Probably not.
No, I usually only go there to procure, and I just sell everything.
The trick to find. Is there, other than the fog and the torchlight, there's no other essential source of light?
Mm-mm.
Maybe the Wodes are getting a little further out here and doesn't want me to go.
Is
You
there
said you're-
moss? I don't know. Let's look for. I need to know which way is northeast. I'm
Is
not a
there
woodsman.
is there any telltale sign that I can find of north or east or a cardinal direction?
Not that you can tell. There is plenty of moss here, but it's just kind of growing everywhere due to the abundance of moisture and no clear light source.
It's not following the cardinal rule.
I don't know. I have a compass. All right. Let's follow the tracks, but not. I'm trying to feel.
How long have we been traveling in the fog?
You would guess probably a little over an hour by now.
Does the fog go all the way up the trees?
No, it's pretty low-lying fog. It looks like it kind of 10, 15 feet and then kind of thins out quite a bit from there.
Gillian, would you be a much help and see if you can see anything from the tops of, and just checking trees for height and stability for scouting, and I'll just find a suitable one that isn't too hard to climb.
Okay. Yeah, Gillian,
Alright.
if you want to climb a tree, give me a strength. We'll do the same thing where just roll 2 and give me the lowest.
We believe.
3.
Hey.
3. Okay. So, Orthar manages to point you to a really good twisty one that allows you to get some good handholds in for climbing. As you climb up, the mist kind of clears, or at least thins out relatively quickly, but you can kind of get a look. Fog kind of surveys pretty much and covers most of the area around you. You do notice off in one direction, however, you can see land rise up above the fog. as if an increase in elevation. You can also spot what you think looks like little bioluminescent fungus or crystally type things. You're not 100% sure, but you can see some of the bizarre dim light sources that are said to exist within the Wode out that direction.
So I'll climb down, let Thaddeus know of what I saw, and ask if that helps or if I need to find something else.
Alright, so you saw the lights that way, which means that's east. Generally. So we need to go
Northeast.
more this way. Yeah. And I'll just like try to find if like Thaddeus's torch
I draw a
is...
compass on the ground to the direction that east was, that we have an idea of, like, this is east. This is a right angle for north. We need to go generally this direction now.
Yes.
Okay.
And
I start going that direction.
I will follow Thaddeus.
Keeping my eyes out for mostly the ground coming out from underneath me is what my main worry is. Walking into a branch, I'm not going to really worry about that.
Yeah.
Falling off a cliff, I'm going to worry about.
Fair enough.
I'll
Right.
be following behind, and I'll watch for any signs that stuff that may accost us is around.
Thaddeus, go ahead and roll me a will.
I think
Where
we have
there's a Will, there's a Thaddeus. 13, which still passes because my will is a 15.
Yep.
Yeah.
I am steadfast and I go one direction.
Yep. So you managed to shake off some of the more disorienting effects of the fog. As you're kind of making your way through, you start to kind of notice sections of the fog in front of you almost look as though they morph to make what might be kind of solid-ish looking objects, just enough to make you think there's some geometry. And then as soon as you kind of pass it, it's like it doesn't exist. Almost as if it's like it's trying to play on your brain and making you think that certain things exist out there that you use for navigation purposes that aren't actually there. And so you kind of are getting the sense it's like, yeah, this is probably something really easy to fall victim to. But I'm going to need all three of you guys to roll me dex at the moment.
Come on, roll bad for me. I mean, good, but bad. 4, yay! Aaron.
Is this climbing related?
It's learning. It's
It
learning.
is not climbing related.
Aaron got 15. See, you're tricking the D&D
got an 8.
gods.
They're learning.
Yeah, I just need to know pass or fails, which I
I
believe. Yeah,
I passed.
Orthar's the only one that failed, I believe. So you guys are kind of walking around, and Thaddeus. Orthar, you're kind of taking a quick look around, and there's a brief moment where you feel a slight shift beneath your feet. Your adrenaline pops up, but not fast enough for you to avoid taking that extra step. As all the rest of you start to feel the same thing and then quickly shuffle out of the way, except for Orthar, who takes a big, confident step right in the middle of a little bed of quicksand, as far as you can tell. As he goes to step, and all of a sudden he's like thigh deep, and he's like straddling and is slowly being absorbed by some quicksand.
That is a hand.
I'll try and pull him from the scruff out.
I will.
You
wasn't
helping
going
Thaddeus?
to-
You
I
can do
wasn't-
something else?
I wasn't going to approach him like getting super close. I was going to reach out with the warhammer, 2 hands on it, like, grab a hold of it.
Yep. And
I will
I'll just,
grab a hold
the
of
head.
Thaddeus and pull as well.
He would have the hammer side, so it's like a T for him.
Yeah, so I could just kind of just get my hands and just drape him over and just... Alright. Yep.
Are you high? Because this is the second time you fucked up.
No, I didn't have my tea this morning.
Then you should be more effed up right now. What am I doing?
It happens, man. It happens. It's quicksand in a fog.
That's actively trying to confuse us.
Yes. And
You have to be
unfortunately, Aaron rolled really garbage rolls for his stats.
You have to be stronger in your faith, or else you'll fall for these kinds of things.
So,
Sure.
I think
What am
you're
I rolling?
rolling?
Who's
Are you
rolling?
at disadvantage?
Me?
sure.
Because I helped him, right?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
sure.
We're confusing with disadvantage and advantage right now.
Low
Those
roll.
are both not good rolls. One is a 10, one's a 15. One would be a pass, and one would be a fail.
You know what I mean.
Either way, that's still correct.
It was like the... Oh yeah, I guess when you're rolling it is equal to or under the ability score, just adds up. I was actually looking for something different. Okay.
You only got a little lost.
So you're able to kind of pull him out of quicksand. Not a very large bed, and then you guys kind of find some roots to kind of jump on to move across. And after a really bad, like 60 to 90 minutes, you guys ascend up another section of a hill, and you kind of see the mist and the fog just kind of pass below you, and you're on an elevated area looking out into, it kind of looks like just the sea of mist.
That, my friends, is something... Thank you, Thaddeus, for being a guiding embodiment of
A
direction.
real G.
But I found a couple rangers. Not alive, mind you, but I'm assuming they got lost and starved because they did not have any wounds and they were just kind of collapsed. But thank you, Gillian, for being our eyes, and thank you, Thaddeus, for being so...
You're welcome. I'm glad we're able to
Yes.
find the right track.
That's why we're doing this as a team. If I had come here on my own, I probably would have frozen to death on the first night.
Have more faith in yourself.
Second night.
There we go.
Okay. So, I believe Orthar is gonna take back up the front of the pack. Or are you continuing on, Thaddeus? Just heading off northeast?
If we're above everything, if I can see some landmarks for the sepulcher, I'll kind of take that and then use like a closer landmark to get us the way. This is the way.
Okay. There really
Been running
isn't
before.
much in terms of a landmark. As you know, the Wode is a constantly growing and shifting thing. The only thing you do note is a singular piece of stone lith with carvings on it. Similar to those used by the hooded men. Leading you to believe that this is some kind of guide stone for them.
If that is, how do you feel about the hooded men?
Not a fan.
We may have to have a little bit of dealings with them to get through. Because the only landmarks I can make out now is a waystone.
Well, they likely also might use the Citadel as some form of base.
Well, if past examples show anything, you were very good at holding yourself at bay instead of lashing out. So I think that's at least our only option.
I can continue leading the way as long as it's heading in the particular direction we know we're going.
Yeah, I'll just kind of point out the waystone and the trees.
Do keep an eye out for things that aren't familiar to someone like myself.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll take middle and just watch for fairy circles, just things that may try to get us or could be signs of other things that are around. That's what
I will lead the pack.
All right. So you guys head out in the direction you believe to be northeast. Now the fog certainly far behind you, and the path is winding, but not particularly treacherous. And let's see here. Orthar, would you mind rolling me a willpower?
I believe in you.
believe in me that believes in you. Nope.
So pierce the heavens.
Now they're learning.
They know.
They know I'm not playing D&D.
Oh.
Yeah. It's funny because of how shitty you roll as
I know. That's why I'm laughing, and that's why I hate it. Because on next Tuesday, he's going to roll a 1.
If you translate, so far, my rolls, I am 50%, I'm rolling 50% better than Kelmac does on other Tuesdays.
At least.
So much better. Could you not do that though? Because I need you to be good now.
I can't stop the dice gods from baning my existence.
You need some faith. That's what you need.
Have some faith in yourself.
I'm just gonna. I've tricked the dice. They don't know that I'm here.
Okay. No big deal. As you guys are traveling on, Orthar, you do recognize, though,
A dragon.
you see a particular kind of color or glow that you take an interest in, as it seems somewhat familiar, but the closer you get to it, the more familiar it appears. And you're actually quite surprised to find it. You find a small herb kind of sticking out of the ground. It's kind of this long, almost like nettle, with these green serrated leaves that are kind of like blood red on the edge. But the flower itself is like a pure white. This is holy woundwort, and it is an uncommon medicinal herb, but you are aware of it can be used if you kind of mash the flower petal down into like a poultice or like a paste and eat it. It can restore some vitality, vis-a-vis health. Although limited amount to you. And you do find 3 such plants growing in a small cluster.
Yeah, I'll kind of go and just take like a little knife that I would have on me. It doesn't really serve any purpose in combat, so could I have that as like inadmissible gear? Like, it doesn't take any room.
Yeah. They're petty. So,
yeah. And just like I'll kind of talk about it. I'll see if Thaddeus has heard about it, and I mean he's part of he worships the war saint, but still, wounded soldiers can benefit from it.
And Benedict has mentioned it before. I typically have the more refined version of these things.
Yeah,
but
you
if
would
it can
know,
aid us.
Thaddeus, the reason why they call it holy woundwort is or at least it only grows in areas that are rich in iron. So in that case, it also grows around mine and stuff. But it is said to be an herb that grows through like battlefields and such. But they call it holy woundwort because it seems to only grow where the blood of religious and devout individuals have been shed.
And I guess with that, it means we're getting as I'm like harvesting the last one, we're just getting that much closer to our goal.
Yeah. Well, let's remain vigilant then.
But like,
let's move
if we're
forward.
dealing with a necromancer, then we probably need to watch out for anyone he may have uncovered.
Just try not to be surrounded by those things in the situation. One-on-one, they don't pose most of a threat, but in small hordes, they can take anyone out.
Even you.
I wouldn't put myself in that position, but yes.
All right.
All right. So Orthar is able to collect some holy woundwort.
Do you want me to just petty?
You can put it in your notes or inventory or whatever you want to do. Because it doesn't really count as inventory space, so you can just put it in your notes. The important thing to note here is that specifically it heals 2 points of strength damage.
Yep, got that noted. Thank you, sir.
Yep. So, yes. All right. So as you guys kind of make it through the border road in this entry spot, you guys do spot after another hour or so of walking what looks like a partially collapsed, like covered over building, somewhat Greco-Roman in style, and it kind of sits like at the edge of a bit of a hillside. And as you guys kind of look over just beyond that building, you can see the remnants of like some marble gates and what looks like might be some tombstones and maybe like a couple trees that have kind of grown weird and twisted and kind of died. As far as you can tell, it looks like this sepulcher, this place, a graveyard or crypt, it kind of sat on this hillside until there was some kind of earth movement that kind of came and partially covered it. But as you guys kind of move around on towards the north side, facing south, where the entrance of the sepulcher is, you guys kind of stop as it does look like it's partially leaning, and it looks like the gate kind of goes down in the ground a little bit. But you also kind of stop a brief moment as There is a little bit of light, like there's clusters of like white and pale blue and like yellow crystal that are kind of around the place, throwing off some kind of dim light. Um, but what strikes you next is you do see kind of floating around some of the grave markers and such on the outside. Kind of like large lightning bugs, like these little orbs of light that kind of glow up to almost like 12 inches in diameter, move a little bit, and then kind of fade back out into visibility or invisibility.
Would I recognize them?
They do vaguely look like certain spectral creatures that you know are very dangerous here in the Wode. But we're going to go ahead and take our break and then handle that when you guys return.
And get jumped.
Yeah, probably.
I do not jump. Intermission 15 minutes from now.
trying to pronounce it. But,
Funnel cake.
funnel cake, yes.
Who? Well, I did. He didn't bring it up till the very end of our break. Why do you have funnel cake, Kilmo?
I told you,
the
my
fair.
family went to the fair.
Okay, it's like we just made funnel cake. I'm like, no one makes funnel cake. Only Cairnes make funnel cake.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
And the Cajuns call it a beignet, and they put it into a different shape.
Really?
It's all a beignet
Basically,
is.
yeah, actually,
It's all a beignet.
It's basically the same thing.
Jamal Williams is a running back in the NFL. He got signed by the Saints, and he called out like New Orleans. It's like, I don't know what y'all talking about. This is funnel cake. Y'all call it beignet. That's nice and all fancy, but this is just funnel cake.
Yeah,
It's
basically
fried
take
dough and powdered sugar.
the funnel cake batter, but make it more of a dough. So it's like, and then you cut it in squares, so it's kind of like a donut, and you do powdered sugar on it.
It's just funnel cake.
Yeah, the only difference is you make it a little more watery. That way you pour it into stuff instead of make it like bread. I don't know.
Yep.
That's,
Anywho.
that's interesting.
Fun
I
fact
do
of the
know
day.
beignets are a pain in the ass to make. I know that.
Not worth it.
It's a lot of effort. Okay. That's probably how funnel cake going into honestly.
This is too hard. Just pour it in.
Let's just pour it in there.
Make
Anyway.
some lines. Okay.
Turns out fat
yes.
people don't care.
Yeah, turns out we don't. Okay. So, you guys stand at the edge of the sepulcher, you think, facing in of this partially submerged structure, or buried is probably. I did that.
You're good.
Stop.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yep.
The warden's
Yeah.
face froze.
The
like, as he
unfortunate
was like
His-
this.
hitching.
His eyes were.
I look like Orthar after he's been into the lake cap.
Or how many like cats have you eaten? Huh?
First of all, he can't count. Secondly,
What
that's
is
rude.
time?
We called it at
Like,
the very beginning. He was
Kind of not
dirty.
the question I've asked. Anyway, but yes, and the area is pretty much bereft of any real movement other than the gentle floating wispy orb things that seem to be kind of in the area, but don't seem to approach you.
Just don't.
I'm getting a bad
don't
feeling about this.
Don't interact with them. Is what I've learned.
Why not?
They
I
will-
have not come across these types of creatures before.
Their most common name are will-o-wisps, and they generally they seem like a guiding light if you're lost, but normally will lead you to quicksand and just let you die. Or something else in that manner. Usually it leads to death.
It looks like they're made of light.
Yes.
Do they see? Are they attracted to things that move?
Are they sentient?
In a way, I've never had a conversation with one, but they can generally have some sentience, and if you don't follow them or are not charmed by them, then they will sometimes leave you alone.
Can they be tricked?
No.
Well, our goal is on the other side of this area where these will-o-wisps are around. How keen are their senses that they are sentient about?
They're very good at sensing the light, so
Well,
it's not so much of a seeing, it's more of a sense. Warden.
What do you suggest we do?
Do these things, do they attack?
You're not. I mean, the times you've run across them, they don't seem to be aggressive creatures, unless you attack them. But even then, you've heard that these creatures tend to flee in danger. But you have also heard people say that if they want to, they can hurt you.
So maybe Thaddeus, if you just get a little, not like harm them aggressive, but just get big and a little aggressive, they may flee. But I will be right behind you to back you up.
Well, I will look around. I will pick up some kind of hand-sized rock that might be around me.
Okay.
How far are these will-o-wisps out? The closest one.
Probably the closest is maybe 20 feet away. It seems to just kind of be moving in along some of the gravestones.
So less than 15 yards. Look at that. Okay. I'm going to throw the rock far past that one, just trying to throw as far as I can beyond it, and just see if they react to sound, movement, just something to kind of draw them.
Okay.
I'm just going to shook it.
You launch the rock. You hear the quick smack as it hits some brush or other rocks off in the distance. You watch as some of the nearby will-o-wisps suddenly extinguish their light. And then after a long wait, you see they kind of pop up somewhere nearby, dim, and then kind of glowing back up.
Nearby where the thing was at, or where they were?
No, just like it's almost as if they went invisible, defense mechanism, and then kind of went away a little bit, and then kind of popped back out of hiding, so to speak.
Okay.
I can serve as a... do you want me to go in?
No. I will just walk forward, not necessarily making a ruckus, but if they get too close where I feel like... Actually, no, I will not harm any of them until they attempt to injure me. And I will just start to move forward.
Okay. As you kind of cautiously make your way forward, there is kind of one will-o-wisp who kind of is like floating over in your direction. Doesn't touch you or get like really, really close, but it does seem to almost kind of like a fly, just kind of stay a little bit on your periphery, not attacking, and you manage to make it all the way to the entry doors of the sepulcher without being directly accosted.
I turn back around and wait.
And I'll go through.
Okay. Alright, Orthor kind of makes his way. All the other will-o-wisps are just kind of out doing their thing. They don't seem to recognize him necessarily. There is one, that kind of floats a little bit, crosses the path a little bit, kind of comes up, gets a little closer to Orthar than yours did, kind of spins around him just a little bit, and then kind of breaks off a little bit. Doesn't go far away, stays in the proximity. Just kind of check him out.
Are they like on closer inspection? They're just motes of light.
Yeah, pretty much as far as you can tell.
Less flamey than other.
More wispy.
Yeah.
Less willow, more wisp.
So, after seeing Thaddeus and Orthar go through, Gillian will walk more saunter and then if one of them do decide to even come close to him, immediately loses cool, just run.
Yeah. There's one of them that's
It's
kind
bug
of
out.
making a little bit of a thing towards you. Not
Wouldn't even notice
direct.
until he's like until he looks behind him and sees him like 15 feet away. Not even right next to him, just like closer than they were before, and just immediately loses cool and run.
Okay. But as that happens, like, the little will-o-wisp just continues floating along and then kind of floats off into some other direction, completely ignoring you. The two that were kind of following Orthar and Thaddeus are still kind of, moting around a little bit. And then as you're kind of sitting there, you see the one that was following Thaddeus is kind of going on and entering the sepulcher. And then the other one around Orthar is just kind of chilling around you guys.
What are there names, legible names on the gravestones?
No. This place was taken over like 200 years ago, and the people buried here are older than that. So yeah, this has been in the Wode with no maintenance whatsoever for several centuries.
Thaddeus, do you think these are spirits?
They could be, or the echoes of one. All the more important is to get this job done, so they can rest.
I'll agree with you that things that have gone to rest should stay.
Alright,
I will draw out my sword.
I say let's go in.
Brave choice, Gillian.
Yeah, and I'll make a choice of weaponry depending on how big the entrance is.
It's about 10 feet wide.
I start heading in.
Well, now, Thaddeus, we're entering more your domain than mine.
Do I strike you as someone who dwells in abandoned buildings?
No, but you do strike me as one who is, out of character. I lost my train of thought. I was just trying to,
No, I like it when Orthar is like, I don't know where to go with this. So
but I was trying to give a compliment that you are usually the adventurer and go into places.
I'm not as much as an adventurer. I'm more like a specialist and an auditor for the church.
Necromancer, yeah. I'm here for your taxes.
One hell of an auditor.
It's like you don't want to see them, but they're very good at what they do.
Have you guys ever seen The Accountant?
Yes.
Oh. I don't think I would ever watch a movie called The Accountant.
Yes, you would.
Shit.
Yes, you would.
Ben Affleck
is an assassin.
Nobody's a good movie with someone who has a title as of auditor.
So. I just like the idea of an auditor as a title.
So you guys enter into the sepulcher. Thaddeus, you've drawn Whirlwind, right?
Yes.
Okay. As you kind of enter the sepulcher, it kind of has this long hallway. When I say long, it's more like 60 or more like 30 or 40 feet before it kind of opens up into a larger chamber. And you kind of see two little side chambers off to the left and right along the hallway that mirror each other. The whole place is overgrown with roots and lichen, other vegetation, rubble. and the such. There are sections where the walls have kind of collapsed and kind of come in. So as you kind of pass the first two opening areas, they mostly look like they were set up similar to where you might like light candles and incense and such for prayer. A place for pilgrims to gather, but is long since been left unused. The will-o-wisps that were kind of following you continue to just kind of float along above you as you guys go, one of which kind of a little bit in front, almost like he's trying to lead you, maybe. As you reach the main room, you guys watch as like the two will-o-wisps kind of float towards the center of the room and then come down low and start kind of moving and circling around where a central sarcophagus or perhaps a set of stairs or something might have been. There's this huge, like roughly 10 foot by 10 foot hole in the ground that descends into darkness. As you kind of reach the torch a little bit with your light, it does look like maybe 20 feet or so below you there is some semblance of ground that the torch can pick up. You see some sections of the hole have some kind of masonry brick, and you see like little pieces that look like they were once stairs. So it almost looks like this is kind of was a spiral, like a stone spiral staircase, but the center plinth of it just kind of collapsed and most of the stairs went with it.
Well, Ortha, here's your quicksand.
What do you think the chances are the necromancer is taking up residency deep in the crypt?
I'm still not willing to say there's a necromancer, but this place is definitely cursed. Problem now is getting down.
So you said the stones are just kind of made like a pile?
A little bit at the bottom of the hole. And there are like full precariously jutting out pieces of stone stair from the wall. You're not entirely confident that they would bear weight, but they are present.
Well, no better place to put them down.
Well, I didn't think we were going to be delving any, so I didn't bring any rope.
There's enough stairs there. Just move slow.
I do have a grappling hook to help lower us down if need be.
Should have some rope.
Quick point of order: the grappling hook does come with rope.
I kind of
discovered this. We discovered this last time we played. It's like,
yes, that's true. That's true. Yes, we
Kind of
say
figured.
the grappling hook comes with rope because the grappling hook is mostly useless without rope.
It's just a thing to distract people with. Like,
so
what the
we
fuck is throwing
assume
hooks.
it has rope.
Now, if we need to, we can use it, but if not, we can just
with the light. Is there any kind? Well, the stairs are broken.
Did you say there was enough stairs to get down there?
To
I
climb,
said
yeah,
there were
more or
pieces
less.
of the staircase that did not collapse and are just kind of jutting out the side, but that you probably don't trust them to bear weight.
I missed that by a long shot.
That's fine. I get it.
How deep does my light reach all the way down to the bottom?
It does reach all the way to the bottom. That's what I'm saying. You can see, the light of your torch clearly illuminates the staircase down, and kind of the edge of your light hits the floor beneath it. So you're guessing the staircase is about 20 feet of vertical height, and then about another 10 feet or so before it hits the floor, based on what you can see the light does to the room.
But there's not enough rubble to like clamber down.
No.
I mean, there's sections of the masonry that have kind of jutted apart. So if you wanted to kind of do like free climb, mountain climb type thing, you could probably do it. So long as the stones don't give away.
I'll look for some somewhat anchored masonry, like heavy stonework in the area that we could get a rope tied around.
Yeah, you have a few options. The room here is quite sparse. And as you're kind of coming in and looking down at the hole, immediately to your right are some like large boulders that had kind of fallen from the roof and have kind of been partially buried, and there's like ferns and lichen and other stuff that have kind of grown on top. On the other side of the wall, it's partially collapsed, but there's massive like tree roots that have kind of come in and have started growing on the north side of this room and kind of dominating. And you see some of those roots have kind of come out and are starting to go down the spiral staircase a little bit. Both of those would be good, solid spots and are reasonably close to the hole.
All right. We have some options. Tie off the rope on one of these areas. We'll need it to get up, at least. My nose is itchy. And then I can climb down as a base, just to make sure everything's okay. We should probably lower down Orthar, and then Dog, and then Gillian.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So we'll get it set up.
Yeah. I'm sure Thaddeus won't have an issue climbing down.
I'll drop the torch down the hole so we can see the bottom of it clearly. Wait a few moments for, in case dropping that drew like a whole bunch of shit just to mob it, and like, oh look, it was clearly a trap.
Nope, you drop the torch, it very quickly smacks down on the ground, so yeah, not a very long drop. You kind of wait. You don't hear any rustling sounds. There's no movement. You don't see evidence of any creatures that approach.
The will-o-wisp still kind of floating above it?
Yep, they're mostly sticking with you guys.
Great. Alright. I'll climb down.
Okay. Let's see here. Thaddeus climbs down first. You gonna just chill at the bottom of the rope while everyone else comes down?
Yeah, once I get down to the bottom, I'll pick the torch back up. I won't pull out a weapon, though. I'll just wait. If someone falls because they, I don't know, didn't know how to hold onto a rope, I will catch them as best I can. If it means just tackling the shit out of them to disperse energy, I will.
I'll lower ears first.
Dog.
Okay.
And then I will go.
Thaddeus, as you kind of descend and grab your torch, what you see here at the bottom, the section you're at right now, isn't. It looks as though was once part of the spiral staircase, but due to earth movement and the natural flowing of water, most everything has been kind of washed out, and the ground in which you stand is like really kind of wet, and it almost kind of reminds you a little bit of that quicksand, except that it doesn't actually consume you. And some of the rubble has kind of washed down a little bit farther into, it looks like, a series of rooms, as far as you can tell, without going really much any farther. As you guys are descending down this little pit, the little will-o-wisps just kind of float down there with you guys.
Yeah, neat.
That's one way to do it.
Hello.
Congratulations. You've climbed down successfully. There are other rooms down here. Do the
Does
will-o-wisps go anywhere?
They just kind of chill with you guys.
Cool.
is there like a major hallway out, or is there just like side rooms?
It's kind of hard to see right now. So the spot that you're at looks like it was intended to open up into a larger chamber. But part of that earth has given way and is exposed some of the other rooms beyond. You can't exactly tell kind of what they are without searching them. But from where you stand, just trying to get a look at them, you do see part of a wall in one of the rooms is collapsed, and you can spot a mausoleum, like a large sarcophagi coffin.
Is it disturbed?
It does not appear to be disturbed.
Okay.
I love that band.
10,000 fists in the air. I'll do a little.
You're gonna be doing some reconnaissance.
Yeah, I'm gonna look for. I'm gonna look for if there's like stuff that is moved, disheveled, recently disturbed.
What'd that dog do?
Yeah, and I was gonna get if it looks newer, I was gonna have the dog try to get a scent.
Okay. So are you? I'm just trying to sit. I'm just wanted to make sure I understand. Are you guys staying where you're at but trying to take a peek, or are you guys gonna try and disseminate yourself out into these lower chambers?
I think we're disseminating out into the lower chambers, right?
Yep.
You mean to.
Okay.
But that's okay.
Yes. I was still muted, but yes.
All about dissemination.
Okay.
Dissemination of funds among the
what
masses.
I will go ahead and do then, since they're not very extensive, is I will go ahead and move a little ticker over, so that way you guys at least be able to see the layout in roll 20. I'm assuming you're, well...
I will. Just give me a second.
Yeah, let's try and
It'll say battle,
checking.
but there's no battle.
Combat. Oh, of course. Transition. Hey.
I was just
Hey,
trying
Lamau.
to check because Dustin's thing didn't have vision turned on.
He's blind.
Yeah,
So it's like-
if I'm getting to...
By the way, the thing in the middle is your torch, Thaddeus.
Cool.
I know it's probably a pain, but in the exploring, if I get away too far from Thaddeus, I will light my own torch.
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to show you that so that way you guys can kind of see and explore as you guys want. So, who's gonna take the lead?
I'll go first. Do you want me to just use the action of move of 40 feet? We'll just go by turns.
Yeah, sure.
The will-o-wisps. If I was a different character, I'd name them.
30. And then I guess I'm sure you're fiddle-faddling with it for light.
You can take my torch if you want.
Since you are going ahead by yourself.
Yeah, I'm not I'm holding the torch before because I was in the front. So you go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
it's a hound.
Yeah. So Orthar, as you kind of step in to this much kind of larger chamber, it's got that lower area, and then it has a raised section. And you can kind of see on the north wall there's what looks like was once some frescoes that might have been part of the nightly order, but the plaster has pretty much entirely disintegrated, and there's only like little bits of pieces with heavily faded color remaining. And you can kind of see, like in the southern areas, are where you kind of saw more of those individual kind of tomb type stuff.
35. Stuff is stacking. Yeah, I'll kind of stop here and just wait for on my turn there. Just kind of get my hand axe out, like ready to whack something that may decide to fiddle fart.
Whack-a-whisk.
The wisps will come back to bite us in the ass at later times. All right.
Oh yeah, of course.
Gillian, do you want me to follow him?
Say that again?
I'll stay about 10 feet or so. I'll say 15 feet behind Orthar. Once he ventures off a little farther, I'll be moving behind. So I'm probably around here.
Okay.
Assuming Gillian would also be following with.
Yep. Where are you heading off to, Gillian?
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, you're kind of glancing off to the right. Darkness. You don't see anything down those hallways. In your case, because Orthar has the light source. I have the torch.
I am the torchbearer. Nothing yet. Just a couple rooms. Go ahead and try to couple. Oh, is light not working for?
Well, light works around corners, and so it blocks light when you bring the torch with you.
Well, no,
it's
like
dynamic lighting.
Gillian will light his own torch.
It looks like there. Oh, okay, that's a wall. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just go around. Oh, there's a. Couple more rooms, but there's a coffin at the far end, to the left.
Yeah. Sorry, because there was actually a dynamic lighting toggle I needed to do, which is what prevents you from going through walls. But I forgot that it's not under the dynamic lighting settings. It's under the general settings, even though it's a dynamic lighting thing. But anyway, yeah. So as you guys are, Orthar, as you're kind of looking around, these look to just be smaller, little dwelling places where individual members of the order appear to have been buried. Not really much. The only one that I guess really, and all the sarcophagi that you see down here are closed. However, you do notice back towards the east, from where you're at, there is a larger chamber that does have a sarcophagi that's open, and you can kind of see that left, or I guess rightward, on the screen.
Okay.
Probably beyond the.
Gillian was going to light a torch once we ran out of light on our end.
Okay.
So there's light on front.
Torch.
It's like, oh, we're in darkness. This isn't good.
Yeah, I'll just kind of broadcast that back.
Do with torch whatever you want.
There's
I'm
an
gonna hold on
open
to the torch.
sarcophagus.
But it's going to be essentially between me and Thaddeus. But
That-
where the torch is where I am actually standing.
Okay. So we're just going to use the torch for you at this particular moment.
Yes. Just because. So I'm going to move me over here. Bam.
Yeah, because I don't have the API version where we can just hit has torch, not has torch.
Yeah, you're good. So when Thaddeus follows Orthar, I will come through.
Yep, that works. Well, looks like there's a tunnel down here with our.
Yeah, I would have said there was an open sarcophagus.
I'm talking about down here. As I point down, I can see where the tunnel kind of curves farther on.
Ah,
Also, the sarcophagus. I will head towards that. I will go here, letting Gillian get behind me. So I see the sarcophagus there,
Mm-hmm.
and work my way in that direction. Since Gillian has the torch, I will pull out my lovely new sword. More wind. Yay!
yay!
Yep.
And there's
And out.
So, as you kind of step into this larger chamber, there is a sarcophagus here that I said previously is opened. It's still relatively simple, but is more elegant than the others around here. And of course, it frames in the center of the room of this larger area. You assume this would have been like the head paladin or leader of the order or a nobleman or something like that who would have been here. But yes, the sarcophagus is currently open. Its top is kind of thrown over, hit the ground, and shattered into a whole bunch of rubble. And the corpse inside, the skeletal remains are still there in kind of this relatively nice kind of plate mail at this point in time, mostly rusted out. But it does look as though this tomb in particular has been ransacked.
Well then, so much for keeping things inside the tomb.
no signs of like recent activity, or is it dust has already fallen on top of the open sarcophagus?
From what you can tell about the ransacking, recent in the sense that time has not been able to round off the edges of it. I mean, there is a little bit of dust that has kind of settled here, but the broken pieces and everything appears new enough that perhaps it happened recently, maybe weeks or months.
Gotcha.
Well, nothing to see here then. Just head down to a couple of tunnels. Orthar, you want to keep moving on?
Yeah, I'll check down that tunnel you pointed out.
Orthar,
Yes.
you kind of come back, kind of glance around before diving, back down that little section. As you glance slightly to your left before you take your right back towards that large room, you do see a kind of pale, glowing light from back up in the room.
What do you say?
I'm gonna check something, but I think it needs... I'm not sure what it is. The room back there at the entrance was glowing? No, that's not the lake cat talking.
Fine.
Okay.
Head over there.
You
Just
keeping
give
an
me
eye
a-
out, Orthar?
Yeah, I was actually gonna kind of pass the torch to Thaddeus and then just kind of like make my
You
way
want me
into
to
the...
go? I'll go.
No,
you
I was...
need to be able to see.
No, that was the thing, is I was gonna leave it in darkness to see if like if it reacts to light and hides.
Okay, I'll stand here with the torch then.
Yeah. I will give a command to the hound to stay and guard.
Okay.
Doc's name is Doc.
And I'll go ahead and step out of the direction of light just a little bit, just heading back to the big fresco room.
Okay.
I'm gonna stand here with the torch to like in my right hand behind the wall, so it's not cascading light. Like looking down the hallway with no light source.
Also, our friends seem to be not following us and moseying about there, so...
Yes, good
Can't
to
see
call
you.
out, Orthar. As you're kind of making your way and looking at this area, that light, you're seeing this sort of mist kind of coming together and coalescing. Similar to the mist you had out in that you guys were being trapped in, only this one glows with like a very faint pale blue light. And as this happens, you see like the will-o-wisps are kind of moving around and just kind of coming close to it and spending time around it. As that happens, Orthar, you hear it pretty easily. Thaddeus hears it too, but with the echo, it's just a little bit more warbly. As Orthar, from the direction of the mist, you hear a voice. Who dares come near?
Azar?
My name is Orthar, and I am accompanying a player to re-sanctify this crypt.
Why is Orthar introducing himself to the darkness?
Did y'all not hear that?
Orthar,
Did y'all not
don't
hear
answer
anything?
questions you hear. They pull the light closer to me.
You should pull a little closer to you.
What question?
Now the will-o-wisp will start to dance around a little more. Yeah, you had a question?
No, Gillian's asking Thaddeus what question, because he didn't hear anything. Because you said Orthar heard it, but Thaddeus
Yeah,
heard
you got a brief moment where Thaddeus walked away, and you're just kind of like really quickly searching through stuff. there even a freaking gold piece that got left?
Well, no, I'm still the torch.
Oh yeah. That's right.
I'm just gonna
And
the light comes around the corner.
Orthar,
I'm just gonna turn around
you
and just
watch the mist kind of condense a little bit more into this spectral, ghost-like figure in armor and a helm and this kind of half capelet that goes off one side, and carrying a longsword that's just kind of tipped down, that he's holding onto it. The clearly humanoid figure, his eyes are glowing with this kind of pale, ghostly light. And then, yes.
Thaddeus, I think this may call for your intervention.
Get out of there.
Just kind of start stepping back.
These halls are narrow. It's difficult to move.
Okay. And with that, the figure, you kind of watch as the figure becomes slightly less transparent, as if the mist has kind of coalesced and forming some kind of amorphous, transparent, solid type mass. And all the more his swords and armor stuff start looking a little more physical. And the figure just kind of glancing down, kind of slack-faced. You can see kind of this skeletal undead undervisage with just a barely visible veil of a normal human flesh, on top. But not enough to hide its nature. The figure just goes, "You will pay dearly for coming here."
Alright. That is.
I don't know.
And I'm just gonna turn around, just like, there's thing. You're up.
Yes.
And just
I
duck
can
into the room.
plainly hear this. Oh boy.
We will pay dearly for entering
Yep.
here.
And then with that, he's just kind of sitting there holding the sword. You see him kind of grab one edge of the cape, flip it over his back, and then start to raise up the sword.
Can I activate?
Down, deliver.
I will cleanse this place of your foul stench. And grasping my holy amulet, I will activate the prayer for Warwind. Use it to enchant myself.
Okay, so you're going to use Warwind's haste ability.
Yes.
Okey-dokey. Let's see here. Alright, let's go ahead and roll initiative. So that's going to be Dex, and I just need to know whether or not you pass or fail. If you pass, you'll act before the enemies. If you fail, you won't. And it looks like Aaron failed.
Come on, number. That's not a good number. I failed.
I passed.
In card, the lower number is better.
Okay. And okay. So that basically means, Gillian, you get an action. So,
All right,
'cause
so-
you actually get to act before the enemies.
So he is way over there to the north. How much movement do we generally have?
40.
40, and it's 5 per.
Yep.
So I could get to him. I don't want to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around Thaddeus.
Yeah, because if you run, then you basically are straight up melee, and that's not how you roll.
Oh yeah, I have a torch. There.
I like hearing Eric's keys clack clack as he moves the
Those are
whisper.
mine.
So
Yeah, not mine.
I'm typing.
I don't have a mechanical keyboard right now. I need to buy me a new one. I'm just using a really... It is so cheap that whatever brand it is, the logo has already worn off the keyboard.
alright, so that's where I'm going to go. And I'm going to hide out. And I'm going to wait
so
until...
you're going to run and then kind of J-hook back around?
Yeah. And I'm going to hide. And I'm going to wait until he comes out. Because I'm going to attack him whenever he comes back to his turn. When it comes back to my turn.
Yeah. You're setting yourself up for a hit and run.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then let's see here. The spectral figure is going to and make his way up to Thaddeus. Just kind of nice, slow roll.
Great. Perfect.
Yep. And then take the sword, fly, and then bring it down on try and cleaving you in twain.
Now we learn combat, people.
Yeah, spectral longsword. That is 9 points of damage.
Ooh. So that immediately takes out all of my HP. My
Yeah,
3
that's true.
reduces it, so 1 goes over into strength.
Okay, so you took some strength damage. That's not good.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
not
I
good.
took 9 in 1 hit. That typically.
Yes. So
doesn't
since
bode
you took some strength damage, you've got to roll against critical damage.
Oh no.
So I need you to make a strength check based on your new strength, and just let me know if you pass or fail.
What if I just say I pass? Then we can just move on. New strength score is well, it's definitely not a 5, so 5 passes. I'm good.
Okay. Yep, that's fine. So you take the blow. It freaking hurts. And unfortunately, like Gillian just hears echoes. Orthar actually kind of sees a part of that. And like, fuck, that's right. But yes, and that's what it can do. So now it is y'all's turn. And so since you guys can move in any order you guys want.
Go ahead,
Orthar. No, Orthar, you do whatever you want to do, and then I will make a scene.
Oh, another thing in
Make
case you
a
guys
scene.
noticed, like attacks of opportunity, not so much a thing here in case you missed that in the rulebook.
I'll do a little roll out of the room and just take a step back, whip out the bow, and go to put a
I'm gonna
arrow.
laugh when you go and release that and it goes through him and hits that.
That'd be hilarious. Could we not do that?
It would be hilarious.
Did I hit around
okay,
the corner?
So I just
like this?
declare attack and just roll.
Yeah, so you just roll the damage die.
9.
9. Okay, pretty solid. It is more or less corporeal, so none of that damage is hit to Thad. So 9 points. So 3 armor. That is 6. That's going to go. Okay. Yeah, that's right. 6. So. Gonna take that to HP, knock a fair chunk of his HP off. But you still have some movement, Orthar.
Well, the wisps were like congregating around him, so I don't want to get too close to them. So I will stick right where I am.
Bold move.
So
I'm
sad.
going to hit it with my Warwind sword for 4 damage.
Okay, that makes 1 more.
With that blistering strike, I will move so fast. I'll move the torch first. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna go like up here. Like over here. With my immense speed I have right now.
Okay, if you're gonna back it up, then can we stick and move? Can we move, stick, move?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever order you want to take. So I was asking if you still wanted to use more of your movement.
Oh, well, I didn't. I thought Thad was gonna stay there, but if he's gonna back up too,
and
then
Gillian's just sitting here waiting. He's getting everything ready, and then he sees Thaddeus going. Running down the hall.
one more.
Yeah, Gillian, you can tell clearly the plan has gone to shit already.
As you move now, Orthar, I will move myself to back, basically sprinting around with my immense speed, trying to draw his attention to me, and then going up here, up these stairs, and just going all the way up here. I draw attention and sprint off with a light source with me.
I'll give an attack command to the dog, so it will go and get the leg bone.
Okay, so you're gonna have yours attack.
Yep.
Okay, he gets a D6 bite.
It's only a 3.
Hey.
Yep, it goes, and then there's nibbling on his shin plate. Doesn't pierce the armor.
Yeah, and then I'll move him back to like do a whistle to get him to come back.
Yep.
I have a movement speed of 120 right now.
That's egregiously too much.
Yeah, that's Warwind's ability allows him to haste himself, so it triples his movement speed until the end of the encounter. So, which would have been a really nice thing to have at the start of the encounter, but
Oh, well.
it
I
happened.
wanted to see how hard he hits. And I saw how hard he hits. He hits as hard as I do, so I'm a big fan of using the speed to my advantage, because he does not appear to have that kind of speed.
Okay.
But I do want to draw his attention to me.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Alright. My turn?
Yep.
Alright, so
I guess I'll pass Gilly and just be like, Gilly, what are you doing?
alright, I'm gonna step. Could I have gone up there?
That's right
That's a
there.
wall.
That's 40 feet of movement, right?
Hang on. Let me go back.
You had to go all the way around this
Thought-
wall.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I thought that was a piece of wall.
Alright, now I'm going to attack. And since I'm dual wielding daggers, I do 2d6.
Take the highest.
Hey!
Six.
Roll a 6.
So 6. Okay. And so with that, that's going to be 3 to the hit point. Okay.
It's fun because attacks automatically hit in this system. And
Which
then you
is
just try to
both
reduce
awesome
damage.
and terrifying.
Yeah, it's gonna hit. Like how much? And like, look, we don't know in this encounter, but in the one shot we did before, if you get attacked by like 4 goblins, all the goblins roll at once, and only one of them can hit you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a neat way of not getting ganked, but does guarantee you're getting hit by the highest number.
Yeah.
Which means you're going to be taking damage. And you can't take too many hits.
Oh no, you can't. This is no bueno.
Yeah, you can't be like, oh, I have so much HP.
You only have so much.
Yeah.
Done.
You've already lost your HP.
I'm on strength damage now.
All
The
right.
dude hits as hard as I do. He probably is a former paladin.
And that ends my turn because that's all I can do.
See that smirk that Eric just did?
I mean, to tell you it was a holy order. But yes,
Working here.
okay. So with that, everyone kind of rushing in and hitting him, and he's kind of looking around. He goes, Vagabonds! And,
I'm up here, you coward.
yeah, I'm just
Person.
gonna sit here, check something right quick. What's this thing? Whoa. Okay. Yeah. It passes. So it's gonna come up, kind of take a kind of look over at Gillian and Orthar. Kind of just glancing. He's got like those burning blue eyes. And he's going to make his way like up here, up to Thaddeus. He goes, "You have no honor."
That's rude.
And then he's going to take a swing at you.
I don't think you should. I think you should take a nap.
Go back to sleep.
4.
Alright, armor reduces it by 3, so I take 1. So I'm not -2. Making my strength to 12.
Yep. And then if you wouldn't mind giving me another critical damage roll.
Is that every time you take stat
Every
damage?
time you take HP damage, yeah.
What is
We didn't
the
do that in our one shot.
I was wondering because I didn't know about that. Okay.
But not every monster has a critical damage effect.
Oh, I failed. I rolled a 17.
As that happens, as his sword is cutting through you, you feel the pain. But then with the pain comes a new sensation. Murderous bloodlust. You have this desire to kill any living thing that you see.
That's not good.
No, it isn't. So even as you're staring at this fallen knight in front of you in his eyes, your eyes start to glow just a little bit with that light too. and as you kind of roll over and the rest of you guys look into Thaddeus's eyes and the intense hatred he has for you, you guys know you're in trouble. But it's y'all's turn. So who wants to go first?
I would like to run away. Not really.
I'm struggling. Suggest that Orthar.
Yes, actually, let's go ahead and do this, because Thaddeus, I guess, is technically an enemy right now.
Yeah.
Orthar, Gillian, would you mind rolling dexterity for me right quick to see whether or not you guys get to act before Thaddeus?
He
Gillian
should
went
actually
before.
go before me because in the turn order, Thaddeus would still be behind.
Well,
me.
but the turn order is monsters PCs. We were just rolling that to see
Oh,
who gets to act before the monster.
Okay, so
Aaron got 10.
Which I think is a pass.
I'd
for
we
him.
both got first.
I
You both
need it.
pass. Good news.
Yep.
You both.
Okay, so that means you guys will go, and I guess that means that is you're technically going on the enemy's turn.
Ooh.
I don't know if he's enchanted by the Skeleman, but I'll try to
Yeah.
shoot the Skeleman.
Something's up. He's not happy with you, and he's got the little bit
I'm
of
not as
scary glow to
cool
his eye.
I'm not as collected as I normally am.
Hey, another 9!
Damn.
River all over again, buddy.
Hey,
Roll
Orthar.
The Skeleman.
Roll a d10.
Longbow? Yeah. Bulky.
Oh, longbow. I guess the
Yep.
recurve, that's 8, isn't it? I think so. I suppose that makes sense.
Hey, Orthar. Does Thaddeus seem pissed off?
Just a touch.
Yeah, longbow's d8.
This one.
That's why I was curious.
2. There. Nothing. Thanks for ruining my fun.
Well, yeah,
You're a
sorry.
buzzkill.
Should have been rolling the right die.
I mean, I guess I will convert that and say we can call it a 7.
That's fine.
Okay. But use the correct die from now on.
I thought it was a D10.
That's fine.
I was hoping it was a D10. I think I looked at like
It's not
items.
even a D10 in D&D.
A longbow?
It's a D8.
Yeah, it's
Really?
D8.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
You played a character who played it.
All right.
What a
Okay,
weird thing.
that time it
Is-
looked like the damage actually sunk in a little bit. You guys are definitely through the hit points, and you guys are attacking this thing's vitality.
This dude's
All right.
thick.
So, question: does each diagonal move count as 5, or is it 5/15 like we usually do?
Technically, by the rules, it's just squares.
Okay. So, 5,
So, just
10,
depends
and-
on how crazy we want to be. I don't really care much about it.
and how big of a jump is that?
It's just a couple feet. It's not anything you would be unable to climb.
Okay, so I'm going to jump that, and then attack. Attack for 4 damage.
Ooh,
Okay.
this might suck.
So those 20,
4 minus armor.
25, 30, 31, 35, 40.
It's like 31. I don't think that's how that adds up.
Shut up. And I'm gonna hide.
Okay, roll me a dex.
Let's go low number.
Yeah.
Okay.
Attack the ranger.
Come on, you're just good all the time. The will-o-wisp just follows you in there.
He's like, you gonna die.
Hi,
He's like,
hi, friend.
Yeah. So that was Orthar and Gillian.
So my
yeah,
turn.
Yep.
Yes.
What you want to do, Thaddeus?
Well,
Hello.
defiler of this realm, I shall strike you down,
You're
and I will sprint towards
I should have spiked
Orthar.
drinks.
Oh, that's the wrong number.
Oh god.
Just ignore that D20. That would have been
It's your
enough.
first nat 20 and like
Let's just
3
make
to
it a D. Let's just make it a max D10.
You can stand. Oh man.
I'm sorry.
Alright, Orthar, so 10 minus 1 for your armor. That is 9 points. So
you have
minus
5 hit
5.
points.
That's a critical hit.
Yep. So that's 4 points going to your strength, and if you wouldn't mind,
I have to beat that new score, right?
Yes, although let me just double check one thing right quick, because you might not have to make one, because I don't believe that Thaddeus has the critical strike. So I just want to make sure.
I don't. I'm just saying it's a big old hit for me.
Yeah, it is.
I did that to a goblin that was in prison last game.
God.
It was
Yeah, so the critical damage essentially puts you into kind of like a dying state. So yes.
So I have to beat that new score
You need to roll lower than the new score.
to lower it.
Equal
Four
to
lower.
or lower than the new score.
Oh no!
Say 4 or lower.
Hey, I didn't.
So you failed.
Yes.
So with that, Thaddeus comes down. You take the damage as normal, but you crumple under his blow. You are now basically on the ground, slowly bleeding out, and you can't do anything other than crawl and meekly speak. And if
Bitch.
yes, and assuming they let you live, if you don't get treatment within the next hour, you'll die. Thaddeus, as you watch the crumpled and now dying Orthar beneath you, you're kind of heaving, and you just feel that murderous rage dissipate.
Oh no! Fuck!
Why do I hear Orthar screaming?
He needs
Why did he
help.
stop screaming?
He needs help. You have to take care of this.
Shift your drink.
In an attempt to draw attention and ward him, I will continue to use my movement and go right back up to him to try to block off anything he might try to do. Now with my own rage in my eyes towards him.
Is it possible for him to administer those flowers to himself?
Yeah, I mean, he just has to basically shove them in his mouth and chew them and eat them.
Okay, so his next turn he could do that.
He could, yeah.
I just didn't know if he'd be able to do an action like that.
Yeah,
Hey, if I take 2 of them, I go back to my original strength.
that's true.
Do it.
Just move that, and I guess it's still his turn though. It's that thing's turn, as I have now turned against him.
Yes, and with that, he's kind of going on. He sees you kind of cut down Orthar. He goes, "Yes, good, kill them all." And he starts like as if you see like the eye, and as you're kind of coming to your realization, his eyes are kind of flitting over to the passageway, and you know he's fixing to go around and kill Gillian. And as you turn around, you just kind of quickly go and interdict as he's getting ready to kind of step off the edge. And as his eyes kind of look back over to you, it's like, "You are not worthy." He'll take a swing at you. Ooh, damn, that's a 10.
So
Some thick damage.
Great
Anyone else,
damage.
they'd be dead. -3. That's a 7, so it's reduced to 9. That's not good.
No, that's not good. I need another critical roll.
Which is a 5 now. DC 5. I got this. Don't worry.
Hey!
Oh!
You feel that hatred kind of pushed in your heart. You're like, no, not again, not again.
The
And
blades
then
cut
fades
through
off.
like the chain. Like I am bleeding out. It's like, no, not this time.
Yep. Okay. And so we'll say, yeah, because you're technically would have been the last on this turn. So now, actually, you are back in the same initiative with your friends. So you three can take your turns in any order you want.
So, what I'm going
I'll go
to
ahead
do
and chew the
now?
flower. Just like you see me, like kind of like
Yeah.
shrug my pack off and just like weak hand, just pull a flower out. Just
So,
It
what I'm
doesn't
going
taste
to do?
good. Kind of tastes like yellow paint. But sure enough, you start to feel the pain subside very quickly. You regain 2 points of strength, and your wounds have closed, so you can still move if you wish to.
I will hold that decision.
Okay, that's fine. Gillian?
I will actually move around 5, 10, 15, 20, and I'm going to use my
You seem to be
boots
like
that I
phasing through a lot of corners, man.
He's a
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. There.
Oh, you're going to do full movement.
Yes, and the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to run up the wall with my boots,
parkour.
and I'm going to jump,
okay.
and I'm going to try and stab both of them into him at the same time. And
Okay.
in the end, I'm going to be flanking Thaddeus.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll me Dex.
Motherfucker!
Yeah.
reducing the cool. Oh!
Okay. That's fine. You managed to make it up there.
Wait.
Would
climbing boots help that?
No. That's
Okay.
you're wearing the climbing boots is why I'm letting you do this.
Okay.
You just managed to lose some of your momentum in the bit. So instead of like once you get up there, you lost the momentum to kind of jump off, so you just kind of like slide down the other side. You still get to make your attacks, but I was just checking to see. Otherwise, I would have given you an enhanced attack. But
Okay.
you're just gonna have.
That would have been nice.
Yeah.
4 damage.
4. Okay. Yep. Takes the knife from the back. Kind of looks back over you. Good, you've come to me. Orthar, did you want to do any movement before Thaddeus goes? Or you want to wait till after Thaddeus?
You should wait for after Thaddeus.
Yeah.
I will see Gillian run up there and land the attack, and it not being as effective as he was parkouring his way up to the bee. And I will swiftly jaunt myself back to a position near Orthar, who I unknowingly, horribly maimed.
Oh, you knew what you were doing. You just weren't in control of yourself.
You loved it.
And I clasp my holy relic, and I, from my chest, and I say, "In the guidance of Saints Eric, I shall cast out all undead, so they will not befell upon Orthon or my allies. And I will create a barrier centered here to prevent undeath creatures from passing through, to protect him."
Okay.
I shall maim you and now protect you.
Well, I tend to kill things very good, and I don't
Okay.
do that.
Then yes, this kind of shimmering wall comes up of spiritual energy. As you kind of look at it from your perspective, Orthar, and looking around, it's almost as if kind of like immediately around you, there's this line of phalanx of kind of like armed soldiers, but kind of like too deified, that just kind of lies at the barrier here, as if being guarded by some sort of spirits of knights and other clerics, many of which dress similarly to Thaddeus.
Trying to chew the remnants of a flower, just like still on the ground, just give me a drink. And I'll like stand up.
Only if we survive.
We'll get out of here.
As I have blood like pouring out of my shoulder. That's it for me. What else do you have, Orthan?
I'll bark out like a really like rough, aggressive command for the dog to, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Just try to go do a little bite. 4.
Yeah.
Just kind of pulling at the bits of armor that have manifested.
Yep.
Just
I mean, that one actually managed to do some damage, so.
30, 35, 40, and just back.
Yeah, I like to think more of it like the dog runs up and grabs it. The little knight just goes to shake his leg, and the dog goes.
Bro, bloodhounds are.
Did you just kick my dog?
You just kick my dog? I'll shit on your grave.
I'll end you.
But yeah, so with all of that, that fallen knight's gonna turn over and look back over to you, Gillian. Like,
I'm starting to regret this decision.
And he's just gonna wind up the sword and just give you a swing.
Rolls a 1.
Son of a...
I
would be...
Yeah!
Got it!
Why against me I get
Gillian's
2
just like,
knives?
oh shit! It just kind of leans back, sword goes wide, strikes the wall. It's like big old crack and stuff comes through. Like, you'd say, okay, you can understand how Thaddeus got hurt with that. And then as he's just kind of like leaning over against the wall, he's kind of looking over at you. And he starts to kind of like pivot as though he's going to strike another one. But it's y'all's turn. Gillian, there is a saint out there who is maybe helping you out, I don't know, or something.
Question:
Only gives damage to those who can take it.
Is damage minimum 1, or does armor soak it all?
It cancels.
Armor would soak it all.
Okay.
Armor is DR.
Yeah, but I didn't know if there was a minimum damage.
Right, because in 3.5 you can't do less than 1 point of damage.
Yeah.
But yeah, in this particular case, and partially because it is armor, is the values are so low, the chances of you, armor constantly soaking up all the damage is not something that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because like the average on a D6 is 3.5, which is still higher than the maximum armor, which is 3. So on average,
a D10 is apparently 9 if you're getting hit by it.
Yeah.
That's true. I rolled a 9 and a 10.
I rolled a 10 against Orthan.
That's true.
Yeah. I would wait until somebody comes up to attack to try and do a flanking bonus if possible.
Great. I'm your buddy.
You're his Huckleberry.
And now I will attack as soon as he looks to Thaddeus. since he just came up and he is his primary.
He's
foe.
not paying attention to Thaddeus right now. He's
Oh,
looking at you.
fun.
He's like,
In
he
that
wants
case-
you dead.
What if
That
I
is-
hit him first?
Well, then I would say that would go a long way to taking his.
What if I kill him in this one blow?
Do it. You won't.
You could. It's
My
possible.
sword is very angry right now. And I rolled a 10.
Woohoo!
Nice.
How would
Good
you
for
like
him.
to do this? As
He's not
you
looking at
watch
me. That's
this
unfortunate for
knight
him.
kind of coming, pulling the sword out, going overhead. He's gonna try and cleave Gillian in two.
Roll a 12.
You are a defiler, not me! As I sprint forth and just cut straight through his abdomen, right into the wall. The guy doesn't even move as he's preparing for a strike as Gillian. As he goes to swing towards him, it just doesn't. There's no momentum anymore as his body just kind of tilts over.
Yep, and then
Instead,
big thrust with Warwind.
Then Gillian stabs him.
I wanted to say I
Gillian's
would
kinda
stab him,
flipping
and then he
around,
falls
he's like,
over.
I'm gonna have to like Rochambeau here, and then all of a sudden you see spark, Gillian, as piercing through the cuirass at the heart of this fallen knight. He's kind of eyes go wide and shocked, and kind of looks down a little bit, and kind of like looks over his shoulder over to Thaddeus. Thaddeus gives a nice, kind of turn of the blade, and then as you hear this kind of sickening crack, you see some of that blue light, this kind of silver gold light, kind of starts to pour out a little bit. And as that light gets bigger, his form seems to dissipate at the edges until all that's left is just the upper part of his chest and his face, until even that kind of goes away. And then silence.
I'm just gonna rest, like lean against the wall, just look right at Thaddeus until like we meet eyes, and just go and just hold where the cut is. Just
Gillian would
Ow.
look at Thaddeus and be like, I don't see what was wrong with that. He barely even touched me.
You look into like the wall. When I like sprinted over there, I didn't have time to stop, and I put like a crack indent into that wall because I just went full speed.
Your
into
feet
it.
both planted into it. Boom!
So,
no, Thaddeus, come eat one of the flowers. They're not gonna do anything to you bad. So
No,
just
I-
come eat one of the flowers.
I have to do the ritual.
Just eat one of the flowers.
I will struggle to make my way back over to the sanctuary area. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Arthur. I'm so sorry.
It's
What happened?
not all right, but I understand you were not under your control. Don't let it happen again. And I'll just like retrieve two of the flowers and just hand the last two flowers and hand them to him.
I don't need anything.
Eat the
Save those in case there's an emergency. I can still walk. I am fine. But I have to do this ritual here. There are no other tunnels if we were to move slowly around that would lead us to like a second, third level area, are there?
Nope. It appears this would have been a simply 2-level area.
I will head to the open sarcophagi, the small crypt that was opened up,
Mhm.
and I will take out my scroll for purification, and I will begin reciting the ritual.
Okay. As you start kind of going through, you watch the lettering start to glow, kind of silver. As you start to get towards the end, some of the parts you've already read, those letters, the ink has kind of like dissipated, and you just start seeing like the lettering kind of come up and start placing kind of shimmering, almost kind of like an ephemeral glitter over everything. And you can kind of feel the air around you just get a little lighter, more tranquil.
Once he's done with the ritual, I'm gonna tell Benedict you tried to strike me down.
That's fine.
Damn.
If you didn't, I was going to tell him anyway.
Oh. Well, I was just playing around.
No.
Like who you're gonna get in
It's
trouble.
not.
That's
It's
what
not
reports
okay.
are for.
I should have been strong enough to resist this type of temptation, that corruption. That's what befell this night. That anger and that rage that's in the heart of everyone.
You
Well,
know,
I am not strong enough.
that's
I
why you
shouldn't have
have
gotten us lost,
other
so-
people in your party. That way you don't have to hold the burden upon yourself.
Hopefully, next time you cleanse an old sepulcher, it goes a little bit easier for you.
Let us make our way back then. I suggest we rest here as long as we can before my barrier breaks out. And then we
Yeah.
head back. And I'll convince Benedict to break open the cask a little bit more so we can relax.
You know what? That sounds like a plan. Yo, Gillian, you find anything cool?
Gillian's gonna look at the body and see if you can find anything.
Nope. I mean, the body of the spectral creature was just that it was a spectral creature. From what you can kind of tell, this looked to be some kind of manifestation of the sarcophagus that was ransacked. Is you kind of find similar accoutrement in that sarcophagus. So,
And it's just, like you said earlier, it's just rusted out and stuff.
Alright. Then, no. Seems to be everything is as it should be.
Just lean back against the wall and just kind of let it daze away.
With that, he
Well,
should
you
drop
know,
his sword.
Will you eat the flower now?
You're so kind, Gillian. No, Arthur, I will not.
What if I chew it for you? You want it pre-chewed?
I will withstand from it. It's more important that one of you two have it.
Well, I didn't see Gillian get touched by
Oh, I'm perfectly
little spooky
fine.
bones. Exactly.
That's fine.
I could do that
will-
again.
Your cut is knitting together just fine. May
I
need
will
to.
hold out until we can make it back into town.
All right. We'll take a more western route instead of trying to go through the border road this time.
okay. Yeah, you guys take it nice and slow this time. So it takes you guys a little bit longer to get out of the Wode. And you guys are probably out of the border Wode, really in forest by the time you guys are kind of forced to stop for the night. But towards the late afternoon of the following day, you guys kind of slowly limp back in to Shadow Rest. or Shadow Reach. And I assume head first to the temple?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. You arrive right in the middle of an evening sermon. Given...
Full taste.
yeah. As far as you can tell, like the priest, there's a priest to Saint Callius is in the process of giving some kind of sermon about not going into haste, deferring to wisdom, that kind of thing. So you guys kind of come in, and some of the local individuals, the parishioners, are kind of shocked, and Benedict kind of looks and goes,
I force myself to straighten out, like.
Yeah,
I'll
Benedict
take
kind of sees you, and you see his eyes go up, and he kind of goes, lumbers over, and then kind of goes, "All right, friends, let's come and let's get you guys cleaned up a little bit, eh?
Apologies.
Don't worry, I have a brew for that."
Better be strong.
Kind of takes you back to the rectory, kind of let you guys get cleaned up and such, takes your report. You guys kind of finish up with that about the parishioners kind of making their way out of the chapel. Benedict goes, "Well, that's a really interesting story, my friend. So it seems the job didn't quite go as smoothly as you had hoped, but done nonetheless."
Well, as long as it's been complete, the place has been purified, and we all made it back. That's what's important.
Yes. Well, naturally, I will ensure that you have a place to stay and mend your wounds, as it looks as though it might take a week or two before you're really in any fit condition to travel, my friend.
Is there a smithy anywhere in this town? I need some repairs.
Yes, I believe so. Blacksmith, not castle trained, mind you, but seems to do a fairly enough job. Alternatively, there is particularly a weaponsmith, I believe, if that's more the work you require.
No, just some of my armor may have taken a bit more of a blow than I expected.
Understood.
Do me a favor, Benedict. Make sure that our Orthar is well taken care of.
I will indeed. Before you make your way off, with regards to payment, I thought it would be best for us to settle that in a special. Don't worry, I'll take care of your wounds or anything like that as a thank you. But as far as the payment, I was able to speak to some of the parishioners and the clergyman, and took up some offerings, and was able to collect quite a tidy little sum, as well as some personal belongings that I found myself willing to part with. Namely, and he kind of hands over this kind of small wooden box. This contains 150 gold pieces, to be divided however you guys see fit. And then I was able to collect a couple other objects that might interest you. And he kind of sets out a couple spell scrolls for the road. Unfortunately, we can't be too picky, but they are valuable, and hopefully they will be of use to you. Second is an enchanted canteen that I came across some time back. It's been fairly useful for me, but I'm willing to part with it, given the help you've rendered.
I would have just stopped at that gold, man.
Oh, that's greatly appreciated. Let's
50 each.
I will distribute. I will take the gold I will pull out 50 gold from it myself and hand it back to Benedict. Like, I will not take the gold offering from you, but my compatriots will greatly appreciate that. Please give this back to whoever embraced you with it.
It came from quite a few people. How about I just put it in the alms box?
Make sure it goes to a good source, then.
Very well. No shortage of needy individuals in this winter time. Certainly not out here in the borderland. So, with that, I guess, right quick, as far as spell scrolls, let's see here. Orthar and Gillian, would you mind rolling me D100s?
Ooh,
Maybe.
There's so many cool spells in this game.
84.
Okay, let's see here. One of these spells is a scroll of swarm. You become a swarm of crows, bats, or piranhas. You can only be harmed by blast attacks.
26.
26. Earthquake. The ground begins to shake violently. Structures may be damaged or collapsed.
Okay then.
those are your spell scrolls.
All right,
What I
what's
like
the
about
flask?
this game. Spells do all kinds of cool stuff.
The flask is a crooked canteen. Basically, what it does is the actual canteen part. It's got like a silver cap that has like a drinking spout from it. That actually has two different spaces. If you take the top off and hand the canteen over, it's filled with up to a gallon of water. If you have the cap on and then flip the drinking spout, it's some other liquid you put in it, whatever that happens to be.
Yo.
And how much can it hold?
That meat in it.
It can hold up to a gallon.
A gallon
Yep.
each? Nice.
A gallon in each. The only difference is it has 3 charges, and it takes a charge in order to flip the thing out to get something that isn't, or to get something that is water.
Gotcha.
I will give. Sorry.
Yeah, for a charge, you can switch between the 2 liquids.
Okay, so it charges to switch. So you can
Yeah.
switch and switch back and then switch back, and then you're done for the day, and you're stuck at water.
Stuck at
For the rest of the day.
stuck water or
And then
whatever
next
was the
day,
last
back
thing
and
there.
forth. Gotcha. Okay.
And in order to recharge, get those charges back, you have to feel a source of water that has never before touched mortal lips, and that's either like from a fresh water well or an untouched spring or something like that.
Okay, I can do that.
I'll give you guys more information on that. I just wanted to let you know what it was, so you guys can decide who's going to get what. And then Thaddeus is going to go get some stuff repaired. Orthar's going to get in bed and start being bandaged and get the over-attentive care of Friar Benedict.
I will give Thaddeus like as much shit as possible until his humbleness starts getting annoying, and then we're just like, stop. I'm fine. I'm not dead.
Or until he gets to the point where he no longer feels guilty and is kind of happy he got you in half.
It's a weird thing because you can keep saying like all kinds of stuff. And it's like hitting a brick wall, and it's like he'll be like, okay, and he'll go do the thing that you asked him to do, or like anything you say to make him feel bad, you won't get any emotional output out of it. He'll just like, all right, he'll go take care of what needs to be done, and then he'll come back and like but at some like you're saying, at some point, like this debt has been paid. It won't be immediate. It might be weeks down the line. It'll be probably some random ass request you had, like, hey, could you get this off the top shelf for me?
No.
Shake this for me. It's like, no, you're perfectly healed. You're just being a little bitch about it. Take care of it yourself.
Yep.
I will gift Benedict the 2 Holy Wound Wort. left over. Because I'm
Okay.
sure he can put that to better use than I can.
Alright. What scroll do you want?
Oh, I'm taking a swarm, baby. What do you mean? That's Ranger Central, buddy.
Become a thing of bees.
Good, because I wanted the earthquake.
I'm talking about the crows, bro. You could freak the fuck out of a village, just like fucking.
You could become Itachi. Just genjutsu somebody.
And then just have Gillian like outside of the village, just use the earthquake one, just like, oh no, who have we
Yeah,
angered?
Gillian would use the earthquake to like break into the side of a bank.
Yes, I would.
Or a distraction on the other side of town to draw everyone away to that.
I would 100% use that for nefarious reasons.
Yep. Spoken like a true thief. I mean rogue. I mean scoundrel.
Hit like a shit brick house tonight, guys.
I was hoping for that 2d12, because that would have been nice.
Yeah.
At first, I was kind of confused why ranged weapons don't get like a D10, but then I realized like if you gave both of them like melee and range a D10, why even do melee?
It's the same
Yeah.
reason in D&D.
Yeah.
My
Especially with
strength
how
will keep
lethal
Dex.
this game is.
Oh, yeah.
I took 19 points of damage in 2 hits.
Yeah.
To remind you people with like not the amount of HP of just one of those hits.
Yeah,
Like
you got wrecked.
I got put into the death
Yeah,
zone.
you guys had
Immediately.
a suboptimal start to that combat.
I wouldn't even consider that a start. I would consider that a gangbang.
I was hit, and then I got hit with. I got hit
wrecked.
with a 9 and a 10. That typically will not happen. It's like, oh, you hit with a 6. All right, I'm fine. We'll get oh, you hit with a 5. That's fine. And 9 is followed up by a 10. Not good in my book.
Your last 2 rolls were 10s, though. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I beat the fuck out of Orthar, and I beat the fuck out of the dude. I'm
lot of
real
high
good
rolls.
at that. That's one thing with Thaddeus. He hits hard, and he hits aggressively. He'll end something. He'll end a goblin in a cage. He'll end Orthar standing there. He'll end the fucking
Oh yeah, I forgot about the
solidified
goblin
ghost.
engage.
It's like, he's quick and to the point. He'll take you out.
Yeah, I was not expecting that, but I find that hilarious.
I knew it was going to happen. It's like, oh, I'm attacking him. It's like, well, my history against my own party is not great. I'm going to hurt this person. Like, oh, look, a 10. Oops. I like how I rolled a natural. I like I rolled a natural 20 first
right?
by accident, and then I hit you with a 10. Like, just
Basically
to let
the
you
same
know,
thing, yeah.
it was going to be as hard as possible.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Whether it be
But,
D&D or Cairn, you're ready to just wreck them.
it's like, I'm going to hit you. It's not going to be pleasant for both of us.
Yeah, guys. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed that. So, like we said earlier, this is a one-shot we ran because we were going to be down a couple players and we still wanted to play. And I had a one-shot a little while back with Jace as one of the players playing Thaddeus. And decided we wanted to share this game with some other of our friends. And I think it went okay, all things considered.
Oh, yeah. It was really good.
But next week, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central, we will be back with Adventures in Athoria here on Black Tower Stories. I also believe we will be having Adjacent with Jace next week.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Hey, isn't Adjacent with Jace the first and last Thursday of every month? And this coming Thursday is the last Thursday. Unfortunately, cannot have it this Thursday because my daughter has a choir recital and I can't be here. And as the Jace of Adjacent with Jace, I can't do it. But if you happen to be in the DFW area,
Jace adjacent.
I'll be streaming from that. It'd be very bad. They would get
No. I'm saying
it's a different host. It's
yeah,
just a
different host. It's Jace. The host isn't Jace. It's Jace adjacent. And
That's
so
too
we are
many.
adjacent with Jace adjacent.
There's too many unts. of the Jace. But this Thursday, this Saturday, sorry, if you happen to be in the DFW area, we will have a live Adjacent with Jace at Anime North Texas in the Mesquite area of the DFW area, where you can ask all the questions you ask of any D&D tabletop RPG game you could possibly have. I plan to be there. Eric will be there. We plan to have the very rarely seen Bevo, who played Gorbeck in the initial early parts of the stage.
Yeah, we only let him come out for cons.
So there will be a live episode of Adjacent Jace. Very rare. We'll be recording it and eventually posting it online if you're not in the DFW area. Can't guarantee quality on that because it's the first time we'll be doing it. And then the following Thursday will be a Jason with Jace. But other than that, next Tuesday, join us for Adventures in Athoria.
Woo!
And until then, good night, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it.
Fireball!
Neverland!
Fireball. What?